Talk about it all here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Make sure and hit that like button, share button, comment button.
You know, one thing about Jaden that I've tried to talk to him about is tightening his chin strap. Because he doesn't tighten it, so every time he gets hit, it looks like his helmet's all messed up. And it's like, oh, God, he just got rocked.
For the win! Caught! It's gone! LSU does it!
After fucking Saturday night in Tiger Stadium, boys. Are you kidding me?
Well, LSU fan came and stuck his spike in my booty.
That motherfucker!
Fan brought his 2 grandkids by and literally was just 30 seconds, just wanted to say thank you for the team and the season and what you did and how much it means to everybody here is truly what makes LSU special.
Yeah. Coach Kelly, we're official.
Finally,
I'm
get a
telling
chance to meet you. Thought I had to get a private audience with the Pope. There's Jordy.
Monday through Friday from 7 to 9. Yeah, you see the notification. We about to go live. We got all your favorite guests. We got them in line. It's the Jordy Culotta Show.
And
Come have a good time.
Tearing up, answering the question. I thought, my God, if she gets offered this job, she's going to take it.
It's just a crazy, fun time at LSU right now. Isn't this what everybody loves?
From the boot to the east to the west coast. No matter where we at, we open up the phone lines. Come and join the show. Make sure you tell your friends about Jordy Culotta Show. Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go! All right. Big start. Big day. Nice start.
It's the Jordy Culotta Show. Come have a good time.
Coach, it's great to meet you.
Thanks, Jordy.
Thank you for the time.
All right, good morning and welcome in here on this Monday morning as we are rolling through the month of April. Like everyone in the chat, it was obviously a long weekend with a lot of news, a lot of things going on. We're going to get to it all. LSU baseball gets swept this weekend. LSU football spring scrimmage, spring game on Saturday. LSU softball had a rough weekend. Some basketball news on the men's side with Curtis Givens and Robert Miller returning. But all of that is secondary. And we'll get to all of that later. We'll have John Eads in this morning. We'll have Mikey Matuk on this morning to talk about football and baseball and all of those things. But like I said, that's all secondary. We want to bring you that content, but we would be remiss not to touch on the biggest news of them all that broke yesterday morning. I woke up to it. I think majority of us probably woke up to it because it broke around 8 a.m., pretty early in the morning, as Kyren Lacy has passed away. Former LSU wide receiver, had just performed during pro day. Obviously, was LSU's go-to wide receiver this season, and it was heartbreaking news to hear yesterday. So, of course, our condolences and our thoughts and our prayers are with his family. Kyren is a guy that was so close with his family. He came on his visit out of the portal. I think he had his younger brother with him. And so obviously our prayers and condolences are with them. And this is a tough moment for us as well because Kyren is somebody that was a friend of the show. And one of the interviews that gets the most run is the one where Kyren was sitting in one of these chairs with Jordy talking about his love for LSU and his desire to be a wide receiver for this university. And that's one of the moments that I really fell in love with who Kyren Lacy was, because I could feel that, that's the same love I have for this state and for this university. And so obviously our hearts are broken as that news was broken yesterday morning. There were some statements put out by LSU, the news reports came out throughout the day yesterday as well. I'm going to get this LSU statement pulled up so that I can read it off to you guys. But obviously I just want to start it off with our thoughts, our condolences, and our prayers go out to his family, his friends, the LSU football program, the coaches, the players, because this is a something that is going to have, the butterfly effect of affecting so many people. And it's just kind of on my heart this morning. If we could just kind of take a moment of prayer, because that's something that I believe in so closely myself, in the power of prayer. And I want to take a moment and just kind of lift our voices for him and for the people affected by this, and the people affected by mental health issues as a whole. Because I think the more you look into it, that's kind of, what it appears to be. And so if we can all kind of take a moment and pray for Kyren, for his family, and all those affected, I would like to do that. So, Lloyd, if you could put just kind of a picture up on the screen so we can take a moment. I'm going to read LSU's, this is LSU's report, or Kyren Lacy's lawyer. It is with profound sorrow that we confirm the tragic passing of Kyren Lacy. First and foremost, we ask that the public and the media give his family the space and time they need to grieve this unimaginable loss in peace. And there he is, Kyren Lacy, and obviously I think this was Saturday night, which was April 12th. October 12th was the night of the Ole Miss game, which is a memory that will forever be resonating in my heart. But if we could just take a moment, I'd like to pray as we're all here this morning, in the same kind of mind frame and heartfelt sadness. I just want to lift this up. So dear Heavenly Father, I come to you this morning, Lord, and I thank you for each and every person that's listening this morning and that will listen to this. God, I just want to lift up the Lacy family, and friends of Kyren, the LSU football program, his teammates, his former coaches, the city of Thibodaux, the state of Louisiana, Lord, and just everyone that struggles with something like this, God. And And obviously, I pray that you have your hand of comfort on his family and all of those that are affected, God. We sit and we wonder why situations and things like these happen, Lord. But we know that you have a much larger plan, God, and that your will should be done. So, God, I just want to come to you this morning and just pray for the Lacy family and all of those that are affected, God, but also so many others that are affected by mental health problems and issues. And God, I pray that you can bring them comfort in this moment, God, as you hear my voice and those that are listening that are praying with me. And I lift this all up to you in your son's name. Amen. I mean, it's just, it's a very, very sad time and sad moment for LSU as a whole, but for the city of Louisiana. I mean, this was a guy that was through and through a Louisianian, somebody that loved the state and this university. And when you listen to him talk, he's got an accent that proves he's from here, that he grew up here. And then just the words he says and the way he communicated, he was through and through a Louisiana boy, and a Louisiana guy. And that's why I am so hurt in this moment, because this was somebody that through and through was what you want an LSU Tiger to be with his time here. When you look back at the Jaden Daniels Heisman season and that historic offense, Kyren Lacy was 1,000% a part of it. He was a part of that Big Four. You watched, the video, I put it out yesterday, that brought me to tears, listening to the video from the draft last season with Jaden and Malik, hearing from Kyren and talking to Kyren, just that bond that they had, thinking about Jaden and Malik and where their mental is now after this. My heart breaks for them. My heart broke listening to that video. And I know April 24th and that weekend was a day that we were all looking forward to hearing Kyren Lacy's name called. And it's been a roller coaster of the last 2 months for him. And it was very sad news to hear. And I think back to October 12th, which was just 4 months ago, sitting in Tiger Stadium in Death Valley as LSU's marching down the field in overtime, or not even marching down the field, they're getting the ball to start overtime. And Nussmeier takes that snap, pumps, throws it up. Kyren jumps up, one-on-one ball, catches it, touchdown, which is a memory that this right here is something that will forever be etched in my memory and my heart. And my favorite part about this video is this right here. That's who Kyren was, man. That smile, that love, that warmth that you can see just on his face, that's Kyren Lacy. And I know a lot of people put out their opinions and their thoughts on social media that said other things about Kyren. That's who he is, man. He's a Louisiana guy. And he loved this city, this state, this university, and they loved him back, man. This is a memory that I will forever hold close to my heart. And it breaks my heart that I'm where I'm at right now, having to sit and talk about this situation, because it truly is heartbreaking. And it was tragic yesterday morning to wake up to that news. And
yeah, this isn't the fun part, right?
No, not at all.
And for as sad as this is, you kind of remember the good things. And what Kyren Lacy did is he is etched in eternity in LSU history. For whether or not you won a national championship, whatever you did, he was a part of a Heisman-winning season. He came to LSU. I remember him sitting in that chair and saying, "I don't think we're working hard enough.
Yeah,
like this is not what we did. Whenever I was at UO, we practiced harder than this." And I was like, "That's the guy that I kind of want on my squad." And you saw Kyren Lacy, obviously very much close to his family. And then to have this moment that he had against Ole Miss, like, you're forever an LSU Tiger.
Yes.
And you're forever going to be remembered for hopefully that more than anything else. And that's the only thing that I can think about when I think of Kyren. Like, came to Pro Day, did his deal, and you thought it was kind of moving in the right direction, like all other things aside, but clearly that mental battle was weighing on him. Right. But you saw him at Pro Day trying to kind of get it right. And it's unfortunate the way that all like this ended, but you can't take away what happened against Ole Miss
Not at
and
all.
that memory, and that's how I'll remember him.
100%. And while we're sitting here talking about this, I ask that you all reach out to those around you. Make sure the people you love know that they're loved. Have a conversation with your family members, your friends, your coworkers. You never truly know what somebody is going through. You can't tell by their face. The people that are struggling the most usually are pretty good at covering it up. So I ask that you reach out to those that you love, and make sure they know that they're loved, because life is so fragile. And I think that's one of the things that I've kind of learned the most from this. Obviously, we've all gone through loss in our life, but I was sitting in LSU football ops watching Kyren run 2 weeks ago and have an impressive pro day. And having his family, I saw his family on that sideline while he was running, and to be where we're at now is just heartbreaking. And it truly shows how fragile life can be and how much these struggles can weigh on somebody without you even knowing. And I just ask that you all reach out to those that you love, because this is a very, very sad situation, and it's something that you really can't put words to. And I'm honestly speechless as much as I've been able to talk for the last 20 minutes. But it's hard to put words together truly to discuss the situation, because Kyren, it was just somebody that embodied what it meant to be an LSU Tiger. I mean, like Lloyd said, he came in and gave that interview his first offseason here, and talked about getting them on the practice field, working harder, getting Jaden to throw him 100, 200, 300 more passes. And then that clip, where he's
on top of the world
talking about I don't know if he was on the plane or if he was driving across the bridge, and he saw Tiger Stadium, and he was brought to tears because
I'm gonna be an LSU Tiger.
He was like, I know I can play there, and I thought about that interview and that quote when he scored that touchdown against Ole Miss. The first half he had against USC this season, where he kind of proved he could be wide receiver one. But that interview, that moment, that clip, I was sitting in the studio while he was giving that answer to Jordy, and I hold that so close to my heart, because that's when I realized the power of this business and this medium of players like Kyren, and the ability and the opportunity for him to speak and to express his love for this city, for this state, for LSU, and he was able to live out that dream in front of our eyes. And those are the moments that I'm going to hold on to more than anything. And so, obviously, once again, my condolences, my prayers, and my thoughts are with Kyren's family, his friends, his teammates. I think majority of us have played sports, and we're a part of teams throughout our life. I couldn't imagine the feeling of losing one of my brothers that I went out on the field or on the court with every single week, and battled and worked in the offseason and worked on the practice field. I couldn't imagine that pain. And so my thoughts, my prayers are with the family, the friends, the teammates, the coaches, the programs, the city of Thibodaux, and just the state of Louisiana. And so as we kind of come to a close here, I just want everyone to just make sure you reach out to those around you. Make sure your loved ones know that they're loved. And if you ever need help, reach out to those around you. If you're going through something, if you're hurting, if you're sad, reach out to someone or lift up a prayer, man, because I know how hard mental health struggles can be. It's something that's finally being accepted and talked about on a bigger stage, but it's something that needs so much more emphasis because, especially in sports, it's so important to have those people around you. So make sure you're there for your people. And if you're going through something yourself, I mean, reach out. And that's what I love about this medium. There's a chat right there, and we are willing people to be there for you as well. And so we're going to take a quick break as we kind of reset the set, get our emotions back in order, and continue on with the news of the weekend. But once again, I just want to leave it with my thoughts, my prayers, and my condolences with all of those affected by this tragic news. Kyren was a Louisiana boy through and through, and he will be remembered as an LSU legend in the performances he had this past season. And those are the memories that I'm going to hold most close to my heart. And so we'll be back after this.
Yo!
Okay. Yeah. I'm proud of y'all boys, bro.
Appreciate it, bro. Love you, brother. No, we talked about this.
Shit, dream, brother. You next, though. Keep hanging.
Love you, brother.
Love you too.
Love you too, bro. Lay out, bro.
Love you,
For real.
My brother, Kyren Lacy. He's been there with us. It was a big four for sure. I'm excited for him. I know he's happy
They
for
all
us.
just want to come record. Trying to me and him created together, so seeing him right there,
that was a great surprise.
We might be on the same video, giving him the same speech next year.
Go out there and have fun. Keep your foot on their neck, man. And next year, I expect you to be here.
Red Stick Sports, a local staple in Baton Rouge to all sports fans, was founded back in 1981 and has remained a family business for over 40 years. Today, they still have the great selection on the floor, but they're also a leader in custom apparel for businesses, sports teams, and other groups. Take it from us, everybody over here at FM Digital Media. They help us out with all of our apparel. Let them help you out today. Go ask for Cody over at Red Stick Sports. Check him out online at redsticksports.biz.
The Jordy Culotta Show is brought to you by A-Bears Lawn Maintenance. Commercial or residential, A-Bears Lawn Maintenance is ready to work. A-Bears can tackle all your homeowners association requirements. Call Blake at 225-485-8022. A-Bears Lawn Maintenance.
Are you looking for sound financial advice? Then get in touch with Daniel Newman of Edward Jones. You can call him today at 225-261-8262 or email him daniel.newman@edwardjones.com. If you're planning for retirement, saving for college for children or grandchildren, or just looking for sound investment opportunities, get in touch with Daniel today, 225-261-8262, located on Magnolia Square Drive in Central. Daniel Newman of Edward Jones.
Well, the Oscar Andrews Sports Medicine Institute collaborative effort was an idea from Dr. Andrews and myself to bring together two great names, the Andrews name and the Ochsner name, to elevate the quality of care for athletes in the state of Louisiana, where he's from.
I always thought I would come back to Louisiana and practice orthopedics with my subspecialty being sports medicine. This was an opportunity through Ochsner's to come back and work the entire state to help develop and take sports medicine to a new level.
As an orthopedic surgeon, what this means in the future in terms of, access for our community to the type of care that Dr. Andrews pioneered, words can't describe how valuable that is.
Ochsner has a great opportunity here to really grow, and Dr. Burnham, of course, is the mainstay of making that happen. If you want to have first-class sports medicine care, check in with Dr. Burnham and his group, and you'll be more than impressed and pleased.
Fourier Insurance Agency, established in 1946, helping you with your home, auto, commercial, life and health insurance needs. Around in Baton Rouge at 4275 Government Street and online at FourierAgency.com. Whatever insurance you're in the market for, home, auto, commercial, contractors, life and health, get in touch with Fourier Insurance Agency, FourierAgency.com, or give them a call at 225 383-0682. 48 Agency.
Get Gordon. And get it done. Yeah, everybody know Gordon in a 225. He done link with Big Four. He got buku ties. Ferrari sliding, flying in a new coupe ride. And every time I ride by, I see a brand new sign. I'm with Gordon. I know that he gon' get it done. Whether it's a big truck crash or a hit and run. Recovery funds, he fighting to get a ton. Mike Epps, man, we all about the Benjamin. Handling injuries, man, are you kidding me? Gordon McKernan, that's champion energy. Yeah, family man with a family plan. Get Gordon, he gon' fix it like a handyman. Get Gordon. And get it done.
Welcome to Trifecta.
Trifecta Sports Therapy in Baton Rouge. Recover, repair, restore. At Trifecta, they believe in total body wellness. Trifecta gets the body back to its full potential. Whether you're a youth or pro athlete, a pre or postnatal mom, or if you lead an active lifestyle or a senior citizen, Trifecta has the class, the sports massage, the sports therapist, the stretch therapist, or the equipment like infrared sauna, cold plunges, and golf simulators to find your best. Find Trifecta online at trifectasportstherapy.com or check out the beautiful facility today, 8221 Goodwood. Trifecta Sports Therapy.
Hey, Tiger fans, when traveling through Natchez, Mississippi, make sure to visit us, Tom and Wright Granning, at Go Mart on the Go Deli.
Go Mart has clean restrooms, community coffee, an awesome beer cave, and a great selection of anything you may need on your trip.
Located at 4 Sergeant Prentice Drive as you're entering Natchez on your left.
Also stop by Wardo's Po' Boys at 309 North Broadway on the beautiful Natchez Bluff,
where everyone is family.
Got chores that need some extra muscle, but a large piece of equipment is overkill? That's what John Deere compact utility tractors were made for. Powerful enough for the work you need to do. Compact enough for how you need to do it. Find the equipment that's right for you at Sunshine Quality Solutions. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Cut my headphones up, bro. Yeah, right there. Now I'm focused on getting deposits. Evil in the way, now I'm just driving around it. They said I need a soul searching, I already found it. I unlocked my other side, now I'm sounding astounded. Drive by and let it ride like I'm whipping a Tesla. Pressure never fazed me, cause I'm bigger than pressure. I'm on my grind, bullshit, can't fit in my schedule. I'ma do what's best for me, you can keep all your lectures. Spend the summer stacking bread, might be gone to November. Pulling up like Trey Young just to freeze up December. I got niggas on the blood like traditional sinners. OGs love me, so I hang with traditional winners. I took a break for a minute, I had to go charge up. Had to focus on my business, I'm coming back smarter. Heat up DJ, sell them go like I'm dropping the Carter. Coming back like KD, it's time to go harder. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back, can't let you fold up. Keep pushing, can't let you slow up. Bounce back.
All right, we are back after resetting the set. Obviously, a very sad way to start the show, but we appreciate you guys being with us this morning. Yeah, I hate Mondays as well. I hate sad shows. I hate when the vibes just from the jump are what they are now. But obviously, a very sad situation. But we push forward, and we're going to get some of this LSU football coverage. Obviously, there's a lot of news over the weekend. LSU had their spring scrimmage, spring game, open practice, whatever you want to call it, on Saturday. I was in attendance, but also we have brought in the professional, the hardest working man in Baton Rouge sports. John Eads is here with us from WAFB 9 Sports to talk about Saturday.
He's got a notebook.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize that they were going to cut us off as quick as they did on Saturday with the video coverage. And they made us after period 6. We had to turn our cameras off And John was much more prepared than me as he had his notebook ready to go.
I'm just lucky. This is my planner.
I just had one thing. I just need a piece of paper.
Seriously, that's it. Just one pen, which during fall camp last year, I was notorious for losing the one pen I brought to practice. So I just bring my whole pen case now. So luckily I had a pen and some paper to write down. We took up the events portion of the plan.
There we go.
It's just gonna do it.
It gets the job done.
Yeah.
You know, just you know.
Never do that.
Well, see, I had my phone, and I was just like, I had my voice memos open, and I was like, Tyree Adams beat on the.
Yeah, you're like a lawyer.
Yeah, like I was like literally like I was talking into my
suits.
phone.
My dad used to do that, bro.
It was hilarious.
So funny.
I couldn't think of anything to do. I finished getting the stuff uploaded to my laptop, so I was just watching, and I was like, well, I mean, I can remember most of this, but like a lot of it's gonna get lost in my mind, and so I just started recording on the voice memos. But what were some of your main takeaways from everything? Because obviously we got the video put out. We were able to record the first 6 periods of the practice, but then we had to turn the cameras off. But we got to stay and watch the
3
rest.
tight end sets.
The 3
I
tight
did
end.
see that.
The how about a 2 quarterback set?
Suck it, Stephen Miller. I told you. Red zone offense. How do y'all like my new offense?
What did he say?
He said that this is not even worth talking about. La-di-da, whatever the fuck. Yeah, Juwan Johnson's a weapon. And LSU needs help in the red zone, whether it be 3 tight ends, 4 tight ends, 5 tight ends, Juwan Johnson.
I'll say this. They lined up and did like 2-point conversion kind of plays there. And when Juwan Johnson was in, I don't think the defense stopped him once.
He was very dynamic. He was so dynamic.
Like, they scored 7 or 8 consecutive times, which is hard to do. You can't even do that in the video game. I had a 2-point conversion.
I didn't. Went home and tried.
Well, I was playing in a game yesterday, and I had 1 2-point conversion attempt, and I went back for a pick 6.
Oh, there you go. That's the game.
So you can't even do that on a video game.
Right.
Just saying. So that was
Juwan
really
Johnson
impressive.
video game numbers
Yes.
in high school.
Yeah.
Yes. What was impressive? So I mean, they line up with Garrett and Juwan in the backfield, and then Garrett goes in motion onto like the left side of the offensive
5
line.
tight end set.
And I was like, let's
Give him
go.
a fade ball.
Direct snap, touchdown.
Yeah.
But what were some of your main takeaways from Saturday?
Well, I think that's why they didn't want us filming after the 6th period, even though they still snuck in one of those plays for us to film at the end, which was weird, is that they didn't want other coaches to see what they were doing with Juwan. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Brian Kelly talked about it after the practice, the scrimmage, whatever you want to call it. He will play and be used by the team this year, especially in the red zone. So that wasn't just, oohs and ahs type stuff for us to see and talk about in April. I think that's actually going to be a factor this season. I do want to say, piggybacking off the Kyren Lacy segment, then I'll give you my takeaways. Thoughts and prayers certainly with the family. I had a chance to talk with his dad leading into the season just about Kyren's life, his upbringing, decision to leave UL, go to LSU, what that means to him, the things that he struggled and grappled with as a kid and battled with in high school and still was battling with as a guy in his 20s like many of us do. A guy that liked to have fun, like you said, has a $1 million smile, really good dancer, just brought a lot of joy to a lot of people. Obviously the highlight plays he made and the dances that would follow. But a guy that did, struggle with other things as well. Brian Kelly talked about it in media availabilities, the maturity and things like that. And I think he was just often misunderstood, Kyren Lacy. So his dad would say it and tell it a lot better than me. So if you want to listen to that, just look up Kenny Lacy interview. You might find that I'm certainly not promoting that other than to give you guys more insight into who Kyren is from his father, who was with him his entire life and spoke openly yesterday, advocating for mental health and for parents to check on their kids and things like that. So that's what I have to say about that. As far as the scrimmage, I think my biggest takeaway was how good the ends looked, the defensive ends, the edges. Like, you can read these. I don't know if you can read my handwriting, but we got Pyburn pressure. Pyburn wins one-on-one. Some of the interior guys looked good. Damian Shanklin getting some pressure. Jamari Butler gets a sack. Like, a lot of the transfer edges you brought in had really good days. And I was watching a film study back that Carter Bryant did, this morning. Yes. He does a really good job with his film studies and his breakdowns and stuff like that. And there were plays that Pyburn and some of these other guys, Patrick Payton, made that you can't even notice unless you go back and watch it from a different angle. The pressures, the run stuffs, getting their hands up, affecting passes, things like that. So that was really impressive to see. I think they're going to be extremely dynamic there, and it's going to help them not only get pressure on the quarterback for passing, but stopping the run game as well, which is something that LSU has struggled with a bit at times. And in the secondary, Mansour Delane, I thought, had a really, really good day. A couple PBUs, getting starting cornerback reps. He definitely looks the part. There was one play he made early in the scrimmage where it was a deep ball down the sideline, coming right at you. Bauer Sharp ran a wheel route. They also had a couple of go routes in front of that. Delane was tasked with covering one of those go routes. And like he was playing in a video game, he came off that route, circled around, and affected the pass to Sharp in what ultimately ended up being an incomplete pass. And that's just one play, but it shows the savvy, the qualities that he has that you can't coach. That's just instincts right there. You keep your eyes in the backfield. You see what the quarterback's looking at. You use past experience, which he has a lot of, to think about what they might be trying to do with this play. And he came off of that route and essentially covered two guys on one play, which was phenomenal. And that's playmaking ability and critical thinking, I guess, if you will, that I don't think we've seen from the LSU secondary in the past couple of years, and that's maybe why they've struggled so much. So those are probably my two biggest takeaways. Loved how the D-line played, specifically the edges for the most part, and then Delane, I think, is a lock to be a corner.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Mansour had a really good day to go along with a very good spring. And I 100% agree with your point of just the maturity and the experience that he has, where he's very savvy. He understands the position. He understands the defense very well, and that's a piece that you need on this defense to make the improvements you need. But to go along with the edge rushers, because they did have such an impressive day, to go along with, like I said, a very impressive spring that they've had, they have so much experience there with the guys that they brought in to go along with some of these younger and unexperienced guys, like a Kalaj Cobbins and a Gabe Relaford and a Dylan Carpenter and a Damian Shanklin. How much concern on the flip side do you have about the offensive line? Because obviously the edge rushers were very prominent and they stood out and they played so well where they were able to get pressures and TFLs and sacks. But that can raise concern somewhat when you're playing against yourself, where why isn't the offensive line playing better and able to step up and stop these plays some of these times? So how much concern do you have after Saturday looking at the way the offensive line performed?
That's the thing about the spring games, is a good play for one of your players is a bad play for the other
Right.
one. And that's why like a spring scrimmage against a Tulane or a UL would be fun to see.
Which Kelly said he's open to.
Exactly. That was exciting. That would be fun to see, because then you can really make good determinations on, okay, it was only a good or a bad play for LSU one way. You know what I mean? Not two ways. A little concerned, and there's reasons to be concerned and to not be concerned. Obviously, on the one hand, that was basically the starting offensive line that you saw for the bowl game against Baylor, and they dominated in that. Now, you might make the argument that LSU's current defense is better than what Baylor put out there in the bowl game last year. But on the flip side of everything, you need to think about this isn't the final version of the offensive line. Like, you had Braylon Moore and Josh Thompson running with the twos. The way I see it, the way I want to forecast it, is that Moore is going to eventually get that starting center role. Chester will kick over to guard at one spot or the other. And then Josh Thompson, who's been playing tackle, has had some good moments, some not so good moments. I think he's more of a guard. They want him to emerge as a guard. But he came in on the spring so late.
Right.
They kind of just had to put him in where he could fit in, right? And the thing with Braylon Moore, you're not just going to put him in as the starting center in the spring when you have DJ Chester back. You're going to give him an opportunity to keep that job, and you got to make Moore earn it. Sure, you paid him money, and theoretically, when you do free agency in the NFL, you pay guys money to start and command roles, but just because you paid them doesn't mean they're going to do that. I will say, though, that Moore's looked good. He had a couple of individual reps. They were doing some duo blocking, and he absolutely just rolled a guy like it was a snowball. Over, which I have a video of it. I got to get it out at some point, but that was really impressive. And the second offensive line looked good. Like when Michael Van Buren was running his plays when he was out there, he had good pass protection. The run blocking was pretty good at most points. And I think that's because a lot of the guys that are on your second offensive line will end up being on your first offensive line. So the starting five, watching the film back this morning, Carter again doing a great job of depicting it and slowing it down and letting you see some of the reps. Like Weston Davis struggled a little bit, the interior struggled a little bit, but they're also working on new concepts. With Alex Atkins, he likes to run counter. He likes to pull guys. He likes to move guys. Like, it's kind of new for people. You know, they're trying to switch up and change the run game. So guys are still getting it down. But what Brian Kelly said, and we aired this on our channel last night, kind of following up on the spring game coverage, is that they really tried to build versatility in the offensive line room this spring. So they didn't go into it thinking, okay, this is our five. This is what the five needs to be. It was, let's just get guys out there, put them in different roles, and then they'll really find answers and make determinations like 8 or 9 practices into fall camp. So it's really early. You would have liked to see a better performance, I think, from what your starting five was in that 13th practice of spring ball. But I don't think there's any need to really panic at this point. Because think about it this way. Last year, I think I was watching my spring report I did, breaking down the spring game, and I talked about how the defense struggled, the offense was great, the offensive line mauled, but then we get to the season, and that wasn't the case. So I wouldn't make extremely overarching, whatever the word is, determinations based on the spring game.
Yeah, and you would prefer the defense to be a little bit ahead at this point with where they're at.
They might just be that good. It might just be an elite group.
And to talk about this edge rushing room, some of the size in that group. Jack Pyburn at 6'4", 264. Patrick Payton, 6'5", 255. Gabe Relaford is 6'2", 268. Jamari Butler, 6'5", 260. I mean, that's
big dudes.
Yeah, those are some physically imposing guys. But I agree with you. I don't think the five you saw go out there throughout the spring and on Saturday are the first five. I think there definitely will be some shakeup. And if if you didn't see that after the spring practice, I think Saturday kind of proved that there's going to be some shakeup at some of those positions.
Now we wait.
Yeah, now we'll see. We'll have a long summer to get back to fall camp in August to see what it looks like. But all in all, it was a good day, Lloyd.
Well, when you talk about what they brought in defensively, like you talked about, like you paid them to play. Like that's what you got on the defensive edges. Like I'm sure people, and that would be the one point of concern that people would look at and go, oh, you lost your left tackle, lost your right tackle. It's hard to justify them performing poorly whenever you brought in, 3 veteran guys that are coming in here with a mission, with a job to do, and that have played the position their entire lives. Like a Pyburn, a Patrick Payton. All of these guys are coming in to, like, this is their money year. And there's a reason that you would say, if you want to make it positive, right, you evaluated correctly, it feels like. You went and got starters. You went and got guys. And on the offensive line side, get your degree from Northwestern later. Come to practice.
You can graduate later.
You can do that online.
Yeah, I need that.
But I do think like those guys that you on the offensive line as well. Like there was some late timeout, some kind of deals with the snap again. And DJ Chester's not. He's not going to give the job away, but he also is going to play at some point on the offensive line. Yeah, he's part of your best five, and I do think that's where you're starting to see like not going to give it to him, but also like you see yourself starting to work in. Was there any DJ Pickett? Anything that y'all saw from aside? When you say Monster Lane's going to play like out boundary corner?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. Pickett had one nice pass breakup that I can think of off of memory, but he didn't have. I think he had
burned by Chris Hilton.
He had a TFL I think at one point as well.
Yeah. He broke out. It was hard for me to see because I was trying to film and the ref was in my way, and they wouldn't let us go into the end zone.
Nussmeier was on his ass.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, he threw a fade ball. Well, actually, it was Van Buren that threw this one. He threw a fade ball cross field, which I'm not a fan of. That was a long throw.
Yes.
To Nick Anderson, and Pickett was in coverage, and that was incomplete. And Nick Anderson's no slouch. I mean, he's put up big numbers in Oklahoma, so that's impressive.
Speaking of physically put together.
Yes, he is. He's just
outstanding in the uniform.
He's trying to get back to full health coming off the injury. So not a lot from Pickett, but there weren't a ton of opportunities for him to make those flashes. And then, they did like a 7-on-7 thing, but it was on the other side of the field. I was more focused on the offensive line versus the defensive line. So he may have done some things over there as well. But I'm sure we'll see more. Hopefully at practices, we'll get to stay for a little while on Tuesday and Thursday coming up this week, and then at fall camp next year. But I think it's nice to know that you at least have one of those corners solidified in Delane, without a doubt. And then on the other side, it's either going to be an Ashton Stamps, who had some good moments. P.J. Woodland had some good
interception.
moments. Yep. Some good tackles in open space as well. And then DJ Pickett. Those guys are all going to compete for that other cornerback job.
Yeah, and Marcus Cooley was back there at safety. Him and Toviano were the two starters at the safety position. Toviano had 7 tackles, I believe, during some of the sessions, and so he had a good day. Cooley played well as well. I think he had that blocked field goal.
He did.
He broke through the line and blocked a field goal. We'll get to the special teams a little bit later. But speaking of freshmen, Harlan Berry, to me, was a standout on Saturday, where it's going to be very difficult for Brian Kelly and the staff to not have the freshman on the field. He's not. I mean, Caden Durham was not really a part of the spring. I think he
I didn't even notice that until after.
Yeah, he started out there. He had 2 carries or so, and then had an ankle sprain, and he should be back later this week. But so that more opportunities arose for number 22, and he's special in the open field. Like, he caught a couple out of the backfield and just put his foot in the ground and made 2 guys miss, and then got up the sideline. Like, it's going to be very hard for them to not put this guy on the field in some capacity. Caden Durham is your running back 1, but the Harlan Berry's special.
Brings a different element to the table. Caden also excels as a receiver, but Berry just has a different speed to him, I think. Like this play right here. Catch, boom, bye. Like he's already
he's going to score
10, 15 yards past the guy that was right in front of him. He just has a different speed that he moves at. But you also need to be able to run between the tackles.
Yes.
Like, you're not just going to be a gadget player that catches some swing passes and things like that, because that's pretty easy to game plan against. Like, when you see Berry in the game and he's the only running back in,
right,
if that's what you're doing, they're not running between the tackles, so then you can play some coverage or whatever it is you need to do. But when he ran between the tackles, I like to see him put his head down and run with
not
seemingly
scared of the
no
contact.
fear. Yeah, he even ran a couple guys over. What he needs to get better at, I suppose, is that physicality, though. Like, there was a play where he found a crease up the middle. Deshaun Spears came down, and, it's a one-on-one situation. And Brian Kelly has mentioned before, if you're a running back at LSU, you have to have the ability to beat somebody one-on-one, like break a tackle, account for one player. There's never going to really be a play where, everybody's blocked and you don't have to do anything except run. You're going to have to beat somebody. And in that situation, Spears got him and blew him right back. So I think that's the next step for Berry. We know what he can do as a receiver. You saw it on display.
Right.
He's only been on campus for a couple months, so this is something he's always been able to do.
Yeah.
What he needs to do now, and this is obvious and it's been the biggest talking point, is put on weight and be able to match the speed and physicality of the game in the trenches, because that's what you need to do as an SEC running back. So he'll continue that. You're not just going to put on 15 pounds overnight.
Right.
If you could, I think we all would try to do that. It takes a lot of time and work. What a stray.
Yeah.
But he'll continue to try and acclimate to that. The biggest thing, though, is that you need to have the mentality that you can do it, and I think that we saw that. And he had some good runs.
Yeah,
So,
it's another weapon. I mean, when you look at this offense, there's so many weapons that have so many different skill sets. Sabrion in the chat, how did Jackson look? I thought Caleb Jackson had a good day.
Mm-hmm.
He obviously got a lot of the reps with Caden Durham out. I thought Caleb Jackson looked better as the scrimmage got more physical. Like, as he was able to get between tackles and feel contact and bounce around, I thought he had a good day. Did you see anything specific?
Yeah, I thought he ran the ball well. There's been some issues with the exchanges on the handoffs at times. It's mostly been with Van Buren, because typically Durham's been taking the reps with the ones, and he's been with the twos. Didn't see any of that, so that was good. I thought he ran physically. He caught a pass out in the flat on a little swing route and moved pretty well in that, and obviously very difficult to bring down. He had some nice touches in the 2-point session, running it up the middle, catching like a shovel kind of pass from Nuss to get in there. So, yeah, I thought he had a good day. There was one play that maybe wasn't his best. I think they were trying to set up a screen pass or something like that, and he ran into Garrett, and that just completely wiped everything out. But aside from that, I mean, he's looked good in the spring game before. He had a touchdown run last year in a live rep with tackling
from like 20, 25 yards out. So for whatever reason, he just hasn't been able to put it together past camp, like in the season. So hopefully this is the year for him. It was probably a good thing that he got some extended opportunities yesterday. You got some more film on him. You got to see him in some different situations. So kind of a silver lining there with Durham not being able to play is that you saw more of Jackson and Barry and even Christian's favorite Malachi Lane and some of those other guys get some good touches. So, I thought a lot to like from Caleb Jackson. Pass protection, too. He looked good in pass pro, picking up blitzers and things
which
like
is
that.
going to be a huge opportunity for him to take advantage of playing time because without Josh Williams, that was your sixth offensive lineman a lot of the times. Like,
Borderline be damned.
I think back to that Florida game when BT got that end around play and Josh Williams blows up the defensive end and flat-backed him, let him hear it. You need the pass protection from the running back position. One guy that stood out to me offensively, and not just because he was in a red jersey, was Kyle Parker. Kyle Parker, I thought, had a really good day. Routes looked crisp. He's obviously still recovering from injury, but his routes looked crisp. He was running with the twos. He was obviously Van Buren's favorite target. I think every time Van Buren dropped back, if the pass was completed, it was number 12 on the other end. I thought he had a really good day.
Yeah, quick stuff over the middle, but catches it, eyes are up, gets more yardage. It's the catch and run stuff. And he came on strong at the end of fall camp last year.
Yes.
Made some really eye-opening plays. I think did he have a touchdown in the game against USC?
UCLA.
Was it UCLA? Okay.
Yeah, he had that big one.
That was that deep shot.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was the first.
Yeah, but he did come on strong because that was when Hilton's injury first arose was at the end of camp.
Yep.
And Kyle Parker stepped in and had some really good days.
Yeah, so he's kind of gotten back to that in some ways, and this wide receiver
for clarity.
Man. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean that's it, man.
Just because I like seeing it.
Talking about filling a role.
Peel back.
I mean, sit down.
Caleb
My favorite
can do
part.
That.
Yeah, I mean 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean
look JD with the block.
No, just kidding.
I'm about to get drafted first overall.
No need for that.
Yeah, stay away.
Yeah, I liked Kyle Parker's day though, but with that, Van Buren, I think again had a great day.
He did look good as well.
The way that he was going through his progressions, like on a lot of those plays that we've shown already, the Harlem Berry check down, there were some plays in 7-on-7 and stuff where he would go through like 3 or 4 different progressions. And the offensive line has to block.
Right.
That would help.
To get to those progressions, he has to have time.
But he did. It's not like he sat on him and then, took a sack or got, happy feet in the pocket.
Yeah.
And ran into a sack. He got down to his running back. He found the slant. He found the in route. And Kyle Parker was open. So I think it goes hand in hand between those two. It seems like they've got some really good chemistry. So something to bookmark potentially for 2026. Or, God forbid, they need that in 2025.
Yeah.
But Kyle Parker's also had some good moments with Nuss. So as soon as he takes that red jersey off, I assume that'll be sometime in fall camp, if not the first practice of fall camp. Another guy to watch out for in that receiver room, which, man, they are absolutely loaded like they are every year. So
weapons. But all in all, I think the defense was the biggest talking point of Saturday, where for the first time in April, we're sitting here after a spring camp and a spring game saying the defense is ahead of the offense really in Brian Kelly's tenure. Over the last 2 years, it's been far and away the offense has been ahead of where the defense was. And to sit here now, I think that there's some real encouragement that the defense is in such a good spot compared to past teams that haven't been very good defensively.
It's not even the full-strength defense either.
Right.
No Perk.
No
Whit.
No Jacobian. Yep. You're echoing my sentiments.
Yes.
So now it's just about finding some of those unknowns, and I think they have in Delane, and safety to be determined still. I didn't see enough to make a clear judgment one way or the other, but some things to be encouraged about back there.
Definitely.
So, yeah.
It's good to see the defense ahead. And I think that if you're in a perfect world, obviously you want them both to be full power, rocking and rolling in spring. But if you were to pick one side to be ahead of the other, to me it would be the defense. If they're all meshing and working well together, you're in such a good spot. And then through the summer and into the fall, if the offense can get some rhythm, get that offensive line to be comfortable with one another and to perform better, those problems can kind of be solved relatively quickly.
That's the thing for me, offensive line. Like I think you know what you got from a skill position standpoint. saw it last year. The potential's there. Now you've got to figure out who your top 5 are, and hopefully it's a good, gelled group that can block for the run but also pass protect. Because LSU was the worst running team in the SEC last year.
Right.
From a yardage standpoint, really, if you just kind of looked at it optically, you could gather that.
Both on paper and from what you could see on the field.
Like sometimes the stats can be deceiving, but that one was not. So I think that's the biggest question, honestly. That and I don't even know. Like defensively, you answered a lot of questions with
special teams
practice. I think maybe so. Maybe so. You had a blocked field goal, but then again, Damian Ramos hit a 55-yarder with pretty much ease. Grant Chadwick, the punter from Middle Tennessee State,
he had some
pretty good punts. Peyton Todd, not so much. So to me, that's probably the biggest question is the O-line, which was, from a surface level standpoint, probably one of the bigger questions anyways coming into the spring with the guys leaving and stuff. But you had a little bit of confidence that maybe there wouldn't be that much fall off with the way you've recruited and stuff and the way they played in the bowl game, but not an excellent way to cap off the spring.
Yeah, I agree. And so we have Mikey Montuk here with us this morning to talk about. I mean, speaking of a rough weekend, LSU baseball obviously
Didn't we
had
all
a
just
rough
watch
weekend.
golf?
Yesterday I did.
Yeah.
I checked in at the end of the game. It was 3-2. I was like, okay, we're making a little noise. Let's see if I can bring a little rally power by turning the TV on. Didn't happen.
No, it did not.
They didn't go to the porta potty.
Bring it with you.
Truck.
Bring your own potty.
So do you want to take a quick break or you want to get straight to it?
Let's go straight to it. The man's waiting for us. He's here.
Straight to Michael as he joins us this morning.
Y'all can take a break.
We don't even get paid for the sponsorship, so we're not going to worry about it.
Are we going to talk about Rory? Are we going to talk about Rory? I know Lloyd loves Rory.
You couldn't have found somebody more thrilled. You know how much money I made off of that missed putt? We had dollars flying everywhere at the Masters party.
Listen to me.
I took money from a 6-year-old.
I knew he was missing it.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to miss it, but look. He came back with a nails approach shot and 2-footer and type it in.
Yeah, just why don't you just make it from a...
He wanted to play a hole with his buddy Justin Rose.
That's right. You know what it was? He's like, if you could play Augusta, why not play one more hole?
Yep.
Yeah, with your friend.
Yeah,
with your friend.
Well, that's what I
Ryder
told
Cup teammate.
The fellow Euro.
I told Lloyd, I was like, it's the best of both worlds. I was like, Rory got to win, and then for the Rory haters, he still got to choke on 18 beforehand. So you kind of got both sides of the
People
coin.
pleaser. People pleaser, baby. People pleaser.
Oh, do you want to talk to the media or no? I bet he did.
He was all about it.
Gotta go get a green jacket,
He
boys.
cried like a
All
little
about
ninny.
Hey,
No, he deserved it.
The
He
same
looked good
thing,
in it.
dude.
Yeah, of course.
One of 5 people that ever done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Gene Saracen's rolling in his grave.
I mean, the second to do it in the last 50 years.
Yeah, he's lucky Tiger hurt himself. That was a Tiger tournament for the taking.
Yeah, well, I'm happy for him.
2026.
Anyways, back to baseball.
Yeah, rough weekend.
You start off that conversation.
Yeah, not great. Mr. Optimist of me. There's a lot of things you can look at. Was not great. Obviously, anytime you lose a series on the road, not good. Much less getting swept to a team that hasn't swept you since I think it was 1988. So that's not ideal. That's not how you really drew up that road trip. Started off on Friday with obviously probably their worst performance in the SEC to date this year. Didn't get a good start from Kay Anderson, and offense never really figured it out. Ended up making it somewhat respectable towards the end, but it was never really the game was never really in question. Game 2. Similar stuff. It was not the bullpen this weekend. It was the starting pitching that let you down, and the offense. The two parts of the team that you really haven't really questioned so far this season. Offense has been able to score a ton of runs, a bunch of different ways, and the pitching staff, at least 2 of the 3, depending on which 2 of the 3, have gotten you 5 to 7 innings every weekend, and so. Did not happen this weekend. Auburn took advantage of it. Auburn has made themselves known to be a real contender this year. Jay wasn't lying when he said they're an Omaha team. Based off what they showed this weekend, what they showed last weekend, beating Alabama, they are an Omaha team. Does not make it any easier for LSU. Does not make that sweep any better. But if you're going to look at a silver lining, 3-3 on a 6-game road trip in the SEC. You're still 10-5 in the SEC. If you go 10-5 over your next 15 games, you're 20-10. That's what we were in 2009 when we won the SEC. I believe there were 19-11 in 2023, I believe. And so, you're still right on track to achieve all the goals that you want to achieve. Obviously, you got to get better. Obviously, you can't go on the road and get sweeps or get swept. You want to get sweeps. And that shows how important those 3 sweeps that LSU had gotten up until this point were going into this past weekend.
Yeah, it felt like a lot of the outs over the weekend were fly ball outs.
I think 38.
Yeah, like it was unbelievable how consistent the batters were being in the fly ball out. What is that like as a hitter, and as an offensive team to continue to see you and your teammates kind of get out in the same fashion?
My coach used to make us run until we couldn't breathe.
You know what? If I swear to God, Giants, if you pump one up, I'm bumping in my shoes. That's usually the comment that we would get when we were doing that too much. So look, it's easy to say, hey, get on top of the baseball, hit the ball on the ground, right? It's easy to say that. It's easy to say, hey, let's start hitting line drives. Ideally, that's what you'd want to do. But statistics show, and, the numbers back it up, that ground balls don't win you games, right? They don't get you – maybe in college they give you more hits than they would in professional baseball, but ground balls are not necessarily what's the answer, but neither are lazy fly balls, right? And sometimes when you get in a situation with that, when you're hitting too many fly balls – I think it's a little bit of the way that the teams are approaching you, and just kind of one of those crazy weekends that, everybody just so happened to be getting up underneath it, and you're hitting fly balls, and it's unfortunate that it happened all at once, but sometimes that's just the way it goes. I would never ask you. Nobody's complained about the offense up until last weekend. Yeah. They averaged 10 runs a game. Top 5 offense in all of baseball, and just because of one 3-game series doesn't mean you go and change the way you approach hitting. Everybody in the offense has been hitting, basically over 300. Everybody's been driving guys in. Everybody's been scoring runs. Everybody's been walking, and I don't think the approach is the issue. I think it was just unfortunate that this weekend. They all seem to be doing the same thing and getting out the same way.
Umpire was awful Friday for both sides. Just want to put that out there. That guy was
but it worked on both ways.
That's what I'm saying. He was bad. No, he was just bad.
Both sides.
Like, he was bad on both sides. So good for him. Like, just had a shitty day. Miss a call here, miss a call there. Strike, not a strike. What a fun day for him.
Flip it up.
I can do whatever I want. Who's holding me accountable? But is it fair to say that LSU may or may not have gotten baseballed 3 games in a row?
No, I think that's a good thing. I mean, Friday they got beat.
Well, the rain. The weather. You had Kate Anderson throwing 18 straight fastballs. Like, the weather became a factor, and that's part of getting baseballed. And then the rest of it felt like whenever, like, whether it be bad routes to the ball in terms of like somebody in the outfield, and then Auburn making plays on the other end, it just felt like nothing was going your way.
And sometimes that happens, right? Like, it's hard for me to blame weather because both in baseball, both teams have to go through it.
Well, Kate Anderson was out there for the majority of it.
No doubt. It was unfortunate. Sometimes you have to, those situations happen. You got to figure it out. I don't want to. And if we talk to Cade, he's going to say he's not going to blame it on that, right? It wasn't his best day. But at the same time, the offense has got it. When that happens, the offense has to pick him up. Right, and the offense didn't do it. Auburn did a really good job of keeping LSU's offense down. I did not think that was going to be the case, but it was. The other 2 games, you could probably focus more on the baseball part of it because they hit some balls hard. I was watching the Sunday game and Dickinson hit that ball to center field, and I for sure thought the guy was going to catch it. Yeah. Just the way the game had gone or the series had gone, it just felt like. You couldn't really get anything going. Sometimes that happens. The beauty of baseball is you don't have to wait, another week, or you don't have to wait. It's not one game a week. You get to get back in there and start playing instantly. And after a tough series and after a loss, that's what you want to do. Like I said, there's 15 games left. Now the meat of their schedule is coming up, right? Alabama's kind of scuffling right now, so you're facing a kind of a desperate team. I think they lost the series this past weekend. It's 2 straight. So you got them coming at home, and then you got, I believe it's Tennessee the next weekend after that.
Yep.
And
Arkansas.
And so you got 2 home series in a row against 2 good teams. One, obviously, the big bad Tennessee Volunteers, who I know our fans want to beat just as bad as anybody. So you have no time to rest. You have no time to try to figure it out. You just get back on there and say, hey, this is part of baseball, and let's just go out there and win these next games.
Alabama, Tennessee, A&M.
You got McNeese before that, though.
Don't sleep on McNeese.
Maybe the best
McNeese
team ever. They've got like 27 wins.
McNeese is ranked in the in top 25, I believe.
Yeah. So Tuesday's going to be very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely can't look past that.
They're probably the best McNeese team since I played. I don't know if he's not playing anymore. Now I'm going to forget his name. That's how that happens.
We'll wait.
He played football and baseball at McNeese. Safety and played in the big leagues for a long, long time as a utility guy. And so they were really good back then. But, yeah, this is a good McNeese team. McNeese sports on the upswing right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. Big fan of what y'all do over at Mic'd Up, by the way, Mikey.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
Virtually here, but I think Lloyd made a good point. I mean, on Sunday specifically, Chris Stanfield's double went off that massive wall they have. If that is at the box, that's a home run. Jake Brown had a big shot to right field that was foul. I thought it was for sure a home run, but it was fouled by a couple feet somehow in the corner over there. So definitely some unlucky bounces. But collectively, Noah talked about the fly ball outs. It just seemed like the approach was off offensively the whole weekend. Like a lot of these pitchers walked a lot of batters leading into this series. The walks weren't a huge factor for LSU like they have been all year. They were swinging at 2-0 counts, 2-1 counts, 3-1 counts like they haven't done a lot of times this year. How difficult is it to, while you're on the road, make swing adjustments and approach adjustments versus at home when you have all the machines, the cages, and everything accessible versus when you're not at home and they're not accessible?
So I don't think it's necessarily road or home that makes a difference in the approach. In my mind, I think it's the game and the way the game is going that dictates the approach, and that's what makes it hard, right? So when you're at home, when you're playing well and you're doing these things and you kind of have the home crowd, it's a little bit easier to say, oh, no, we'll figure it out. We're going to figure it out. Like we got time, and stay within your approach. When you're on the road, you get down early and you lose game 1, and you lose game 2, and then you're down in game 3, and you're chasing the whole time. Sometimes your approach kind of goes out the window because now you're trying to chase runs, right? And it's like if you're a gambler and you go play blackjack and you're chasing the money, and all of a sudden you've been playing everything by the book, and you're like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna go and I'm gonna double down everything." It's like sometimes that's not the right route, right? Very rarely it works, but most of the time it doesn't. And so, I feel like when you're on the road and you got all that, and you're down, and the games are going the way it goes, I think that's kind of what takes your approach away. And look, you got to give a little credit to Auburn and their pitching staff, and they flipped the script and they didn't walk as many guys as they had. They got LSU out of their approach for really the first time all year. I would say they got LSU out of what they were trying to do. And, you got to give them a little credit. Obviously, LSU drove home or flew home disappointed, knowing that, they probably left a game or two out there.
Reports coming from Tiger Droppings. New name for Jay Johnson, Jay Orgeron. Your thoughts?
I hear he specializes in releasing the barrel teaching. So.
But
man.
I don't think coaching's a problem.
I don't think coaching's a problem.
What about the shit?
Honestly, look, I don't think there is a problem.
Me either.
I don't think there is a problem. This was a bad weekend. A bad weekend. It happens. when LSU won the national championship 2 years ago, they had 2 bad weekends in a row, right? At the end of the year, going into the postseason, everybody was questioning, oh, my God,
Georgia, South Carolina.
And then they figured it out, right? In 2009, we lost to Illinois. We lost to Tennessee in 2009, and Tennessee was the worst team in the SEC. Those are the 2 series that we lost that year. So it's baseball happens sometimes. You don't play well every game. I would love for them to play well every game. The talent hasn't changed. The ability hasn't changed. And their expectations haven't changed. It's a bad 3-game weekend, and I would urge everybody not to panic, please. You know, if this is a trend, if they end up going, they lose to McNeese and they lose this weekend, all right, hey, now what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
Then you can look at that. But sweeping, I like the fact that they're playing McNeese midweek and a really good team. Because now they can't say, oh, you know, we're just going to walk through this and win. They got to figure this shit out because McNeese can beat them. So they got to go out there and they got to keep mentally be locked in, and they got to go out there and it's a good game to try to rebound on because it's going to be competitive. Get the juices flowing at home and get a win and get you back on track before this weekend against Alabama, Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, and get back on track.
With the Thursday, Friday, Saturday, who do you think you see on Tuesday? Obviously, big, like you said, good McNeese team. You saw Schmidt in the midweek previously. Do you think that's – because that made sense with the Friday, Saturday, Sunday schedule where you could throw on Tuesday and possibly throw on Sunday. Now with the Thursday, Friday, Saturday again, do you think that you kind of cater around that, or are you not concerned at all about that approach?
I think
it feels like they do need to win.
Yeah, I think it's getting a dub.
Yeah.
So I don't think that they cater to the weekend series as far. I mean, obviously they're not going to throw Kate Anderson, right? Like
they should.
They're going to throw. They're going to throw. I would imagine they throw Newt and they throw Schmidt.
Yeah. Also, how obviously huge road stint LSU just went on. How big is it to get back home and be back in the friendly confines of Alec Box?
Huge. You know, more than ever, going on the road in the SEC is tough. I mean, SEC is better now than it's ever been. SEC's always been
good, elite,
maybe the best baseball conference out there. But now you don't just have 5-6 teams. You got 11 teams that can beat you. Maybe 12 teams that can beat you. A&M's trying to make their run. And so you have every game is a battle. And then when you go on the road and you go get a good sweep, Oklahoma showed that they aren't bad. They had a good weekend this weekend, right? They went out this weekend and did what they needed to do. You go to Oklahoma and you sweep and you come back and you got to go back on the road again and play Auburn. Like, that's a hard thing to do. That's a lot of travel. It's a lot of being away from home. That's a lot of, going into, a hostile environment. And Auburn showed out. It was probably the biggest crowd that I've seen against LSU at Auburn. And, it's nice to get back home. It's nice to get in your own bed. It's nice to kind of exhale, take a deep breath, and say, all right, we're back at home. We got Easter this weekend. We're going to be chilling. That's the best part is you get to spend Easter here and you get to spend the next week here. So 2 weeks at home is much needed, and, I think you're going to see that the way they play.
And they get 420 off.
Maybe they need that too. Low Indigo papers in their life.
Mic'd up 6 to 8.
That's it, baby.
The one question mark really going into the weekend was the bullpen. And kind of leaving the weekend, that's the one kind of silver lining from Friday, Saturday, Sunday. What were your thoughts on the bullpen's performance?
I thought they looked good. I think the like I said, the ability of the bullpen has never been in question. It's been, are they able to throw strikes and get guys out? And they did that this weekend. I mean, Myers went out there, and if he throws like that, nobody's going to touch him. And, I believe he went out there, no walks, 2 strikeouts. He threw strikes. The bullpen threw strikes. The bullpen kept them in the games and kept it close enough for the offense to maybe make a run. And they tried to in the 8th and 9th of the Sunday game. But if the bullpen can throw the starting pitching is not going to throw like this every weekend.
Right.
The offense is not going to play like this every weekend. So if you can add that bullpen piece to what's already been really good, I think that, like you said, that is a silver lining, but we haven't seen it all together yet. So I'm gonna reserve my opinion on that and reserve my positive outlook on that until I see it all.
All right, a lot of questions in the chat.
Of course.
Filter
shift. CJJ still shifting. What are your thoughts on the shift and the shifting and the shift?
Everybody's going to shift. It's not going away. So, if you listen to Todd, if you listen to Todd Walker, he hates it, which a lot of people. I didn't love it, but he said it's about 50-50. 50-50. So, I don't think the odds are any better if you don't shift. It's easy to say, oh, we shouldn't shift when the ball is hit right there. But then you don't talk about the balls that are hit into the shift. So I don't love the shift, but the shift is never going away. Major League Baseball is trying to make it, at least regulate the shift and not have 5 guys on one side of the infield like they did a few years ago. And they got hit into the shift. 5 guys, nobody on the left side of the infield. So they're limiting it. They're trying to figure out how to limit it, but you're not going to take the shift away completely. It's part of the game. Either use it to your advantage or disadvantage, but look, I'm not going to blame the shift.
Also, uncharacteristic, and I don't know if this is becoming a trend, but Bear Jones seems to be back to chasing a little bit. Do you think that that's a maybe pause for concern a little bit to see him swinging out of the zone as much as he has been recently?
No, I think it's more of a little bit of a press on his end.
Yeah.
I think he's trying. He knows that, when the team is not scoring a bunch of runs, he is the one that needs to generate it. And so I think it's just a little bit of a press for him. I think that he'll get, he'll figure that out. Listen, what have I said all year to you? At some point, it doesn't matter how good you're going to be, at some point you're going to go through a stretch where you're not seeing the ball very well.
Mm-hmm.
That's just baseball, right? Dylan Cruz did it last year. Right now, Milam's kind of going through it a little bit. He hit the homer, which was great. But before that, he was hitting like 260 or 270. I don't even know if he was hitting that high in SEC play. I think he's hitting lower than that. And, these guys, you go through these ups and downs, and there hasn't been a ton of downs yet. And, Bear Jones is kind of figuring it out right now. Milam's kind of starting to figure it out right now. Dickinson's, kind of up and down. But the beauty of what this team does is they walk. And they're able to get good at bats even if they're not getting hits. And so I wouldn't put too much concern into that. I think that's just a normal part of baseball. He's going to have these stretches, but, don't let this week or 2 weeks or whatever it's been get in the way of what he did for the 3 months before, right? I think that I wouldn't say it's concerning. I think it's just baseball, and it's the natural ebbs and flows of the game, and I think he's going to be all right.
Another thing you could add to maybe chalk it up to the baseball category, but hitting with runners in scoring position obviously was lacking this weekend, and that's how you lose baseball games. I was taught at a very young age, pitching, defense, timely hitting. Without timely hitting, you don't score any runs. LSU seems to lag.
So score more runs, don't let them score runs, and don't make errors wins baseball games.
That's right. That's how, when you say it that way, he doesn't seem so smart anymore.
No, but you're right. You're right. Listen, I think the timely hitting part is extremely important, right? You can have 15 hits in a game, but if you can't hit it with guys in scoring position, score runs, it doesn't really matter. Again, to me, it's a one-off. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but I would imagine that LSU's average of runners in scoring position is pretty high.
4 of 27 over the weekend.
That's not high. That's not good. But before that, I would imagine that they probably had a high average of runners in scoring position. Listen, when I was talking about the offense not scoring runs, that's part of it, right? Like, when I say they're not scoring runs, I'm not saying they need to hit a bunch of solo homers. I'm just saying they're not driving guys down runners in scoring position, and they didn't do that this weekend. Like I said, baseball is different than a lot of other sports in that you can't look at one weekend and determine the team, good or bad, whether it's going to be detrimental or not, right? Like baseball, you have more of these weekends than you would in football. Like in football, you go and do this, you're like, what the hell is happening? Like this team is not good. It was a bad game, but there's other things that were happening. Basketball, same thing. Baseball, you go through a weekend like this, and then you go the next weekend, you can flip the switch and be completely different. And that's why you play so many games. That's why, Lloyd, I started your show. I started the Red Sox show. That's why you play 162 games in Major League Baseball, because you really determine who the best team is.
Should it be shorter? It absolutely shouldn't be. It should be 162.
That guy is a crazy man.
Yeah. He needs to be checked into a hospital.
Yeah. But anyway, I mean that's part of it, right? Like college baseball, you don't play 162 games, but you play 56 regular season games and 30 conference games. And so, how many times have we seen teams start off, the first 3 or 4 weekends unbelievable, and then the last 3 or 4 weekends they kind of fall off, and you look up at the end of the season, you're like, damn, I thought you were an Omaha team the first 2 months of the SEC season. You're fighting to be in the postseason right now, and that happens all the time, and that's because baseball is a hard game, and you just got to figure it out. So, look, Texas struggled this weekend. What did we say about the Kentucky-Texas series? I thought all 3 games were going to be close. I thought Texas was going to win the series, but Kentucky could have gone either way. I think Kentucky won a 1-run game. Texas won a 1-run game on the last game of the series, and then the middle game I could think could have gone anyway. So, every team in this conference is battling. Every team in this conference is going to go face some tough competition, and you just got to keep moving forward, because at some point you're going to look up at the end of the year, and that big gap is all gonna level up, and you're going to have everybody that needs to be there.
And just to put a cap on this, 4 for 27, they hit at 148 batting average, runners on second and third. Season long, 350. So got base that'll waterfront its level. 350 probably hit 300. And
350 with the runner scoring position. Is that good, including the numbers from this weekend?
Yes.
Wow. And so they're probably hitting 400. With the runners scoring position before this weekend.
And then with 2 outs in runners scoring position, 0 for 10.
Okay. Do you have the season average on that?
No, this is AI telling me this. So it could be wrong.
Is that the ChatGPT?
That would be sicko territory if you do that number off the top of your head.
Yeah.
But look, it's baseball, dude. I mean, that happens.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can have a bad weekend.
Yeah.
But it's okay to criticize. It's okay to talk about what they didn't do right, because there's things that need to get better at and fixed. But
I'm sure Jay just brushed it off.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure that flight home wasn't fun.
No. I thought he was going to get tossed. On the check swing on Friday or Thursday when he checked with the wrong umpire. I was like, what are we doing here? Did you see that? He did. Yeah. A right-handed batter. He checks the third base umpire. He's like, yeah, got him. He's like, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, you can't see anything more than I can see anything.
So bad.
I would have gotten run. You would have had to send me to Mississippi.
I don't even know how that happens.
And they just went to commercial. Whatever. Who cares?
Didn't even address it.
Game moving too fast for that guy. Yeah. No poise in pressure situations.
He crumbled.
0 poise. Kind of like Rory, but then got the poise back.
God, I would have gotten run so far from.
He was scared of Jay too.
Yeah. Once that happened, I was like, whatever, because that guy's gonna be in the rotation the rest of the weekend and fuck it up somewhere else too.
And look, like I said, it's easy to blame that. They didn't work great, but LSU will be all right. They'll figure it out.
Yep. Well, we appreciate your time this morning. Great insight as always.
He wants to talk golf so bad.
What are we looking forward to tonight on Mic'd Up?
We're talking a lot of this. Working on trying to get some players on there. Listen, I've been there in their situation. I've been there in their situation. And that's what I'm going to text them. Like, hey, love to have you on. I get it. You can tell me to fuck off. I understand it. I understand it. So,
but come on the show, come vent. It's the same
space.
We got some of that. We got some baseball, obviously some golf conversation, NFL draft around the corner.
Derek Carr.
Aaron Rodgers, maybe.
I would love that.
Aaron Rodgers, maybe. Little ayahuasca. Me and him can do some ayahuasca together.
Yeah, you go back into your darkness retreat. Then you got the deal done.
Maybe so. I think you probably watched Mic'd Up and realized, oh, I could handle that.
These are my kind of people.
If he likes ayahuasca, I would imagine New Orleans would probably be a good spot for him.
Yeah.
Go to the dungeon.
Yeah, some voodoo.
Yeah. There's some voodoo stuff there. He may. Maybe he plays for another 10 years coming to New Orleans. Never know.
Never know.
Little that, little this.
Little this,
little
that.
this, little that. Who knows? Come hang out. You
Yeah.
don't know. Just show up to the show. Come to the show and see what you see.
That's
Amen.
right.
That's it.
All right. Well, we appreciate you, and once again, we'll talk again next week.
All right. Appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you,
Good
brother.
morning. Have a good morning. Rest of a good morning.
Good morning. Good
Same to
morning.
Legend. That was good stuff.
Man, he looks just like the guy from Suits. You guys ever notice that?
Which
Have you
which
seen
guy?
Harvey?
Oh, he looks like Harvey. That's
Looking
a great.
through-
Oh
compliment from
man,
Mikey.
if you would have told him
You
that, he'd
told him that while he
have
was
come
on.
on the screen. Good lord.
You can tell him later.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll get fired up.
Nobody loves a compliment
It's a
more than
great,
Mikey Matza.
great compliment. But yeah, no, he would have loved that if you'd have shot that in there. But yeah, great stuff as always. It was a rough weekend, but I agree with Mikey's sentiment that a little bit of baseball LSU would be okay.
Yeah, just a bizarre series.
It
It really
was.
was. It like never felt like it was going. It just everything
No.
that happened was weird.
The fourth inning of game one.
That's when you might
what
as well
told it
shut
told me
down.
the whole weekend because they barreled up the ball. The one I forgot who hit it, but it might have been Fry. You got Pearson on finally with a good base hit. Fry rips one to left field, and their left fielder sprints and tracks it down.
Yeah.
And I was
He looked
like
Bo Jackson.
yeah, when that happened, I was like, yeah, it's not the weekend.
My father has not watched a lot of LSU baseball, and we were watching the game because we went Masters baseball. I was like, this is the best
course.
day ever.
Yeah, it's the greatest-
Turns out
greatest
to be-
weekend of your life.
Yeah, it should have been.
On paper, yes.
And he got to watch that happen. He was like, good God, who is that? And I was like, he better not let the football team see him.
Right? Who's this new receiver we got?
Good Lord, he did. He was stacked.
Yeah, he was moving.
But
He's put
I mean,
together.
Auburn's not bad.
No, at all.
Look, hand up. I said possible sweep the other way because of how good LSU was playing, and I should have maybe taken into consideration a little bit of what happened in Thibodeau, where it was like you had to find a way to win against a Nichols team that you should probably be able to beat.
Auburn
but-
beat a very good Georgia Tech team in their midweek.
And so I thought that would be the opposite. Like
Yeah.
you had to estrange so much to win against Georgia Tech, throw some good arms. But
Yeah, how about Sammy Dutton, huh?
what was he on?
How about
Well, he's
it,
been
dude?
like that all year. I mean, he's
No, I'm
1-2-9.
saying like the attitude,
The energy. Because that's not the
I don't
no
remember him
diss
doing
to
that at
Sammy
LSU
Dutton.
at
That's
any
not
point.
the vibes I got from Sammy when he was in Baton Rouge. Like
well,
when he was
just
getting
didn't get to see him
shellacked and-
express that.
Yeah.
We only
Yeah.
saw him on Sundays get yanked like everybody else early when he started, and then like I said, leading into the series in Chapel Hill, he didn't even get an out when he started the last game in the tournament there for him. So he's changed up everything, the mentality.
He's
he's got
impressive.
some swagger. He's walking off
that's
the
what I'm
mound
saying.
with a little bit of strut in his step.
Was that sixth inning? He's at 101 pitches and he gets that strikeout and he just let him hear it.
Yeah.
How did that? I mean, once again, I know umpiring's umpiring, but he was fucking talking down to the umpire, and he's like, "Where's that? Where is it?" I was like, "Brother, you're not going to get a call the rest of the night. Strikeout, strikeout, strikeout." And I was like, "Never mind. This whole thing is different than I thought it was." But
Fair enough.
I never heard Sammy Dutton talk at LSU, much less like just big "fuck you, fuck you." And I was like, "What is happening?"
Yeah.
But
good for Sammy.
That's what I'm saying. Like that emotional point of being like, "Oh, y'all didn't want me." If that's where he wanted to put that in, just like give that chip on his shoulder and like tell himself a different story than what it was. Be like, "Oh, you don't think I was good enough to be here? Now I'm a Friday night guy at Auburn. Yeah, watch this. Let me shove it." And he did. He pitched phenomenal.
He did. He pitched very well.
Stories you've seen before, guys leaving and wanting to get revenge
Right.
on their former team. Like, I don't know, even Keon Coleman. This is just one example of many when he had that great game against LSU.
Yeah,
in
LSU didn't
23,
recruit him.
Things like that. I mean, it's something you have as a person in life and then as an athlete for sure. Is just a chip on your shoulder. And when you have that and you use it for positive things, and you don't kind of let it weigh you down, it could be pretty magical, and it was for Dutton. But he's also changed up mechanics and stuff as well since he's gotten to Auburn. So there's been some different things mentally, but also physically he's done to become a better pitcher. But you know, on the one hand you love to see it, on the other hand you hate to see it.
Right.
So he's just been dominant all year. And I'd imagine they had an exit meeting or something like that, and maybe he was told that, hey, you know, I mean, this is what you got to do to elevate your role here at LSU. We are going to bring some guys in, things like that, and he just probably thought it was the best situation for him to go somewhere else, and he's taken that, and it's been greener grass.
Well,
So.
Jay talked about it. He got married in the offseason.
He did.
Right.
And then he's
A lot of changes.
He's from Alabama.
Right.
And his brother's
there.
they talked about the brother thing where he was obviously, like, I guess, a coach now.
Mm-hmm.
And so his team got defunct, and so he's now at Auburn. It all made sense. So that's why I was surprised to see him. Like, it wasn't like LSU sent him away.
Oh, no.
It was
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, so that's why I was shocked at the emotional
That was the
part of it.
that was the feel. Like if
It
you
felt
would have
like,
just
well,
seen that without
you know,
any awareness,
with
you'd have
no
been like,
context.
right.
There may have
right.
been some things behind closed doors, like in exit meetings, that we aren't obviously able to be at
aren't
or
privy
hear
to.
about. Because not a lot of people transfer out of Jay's program. Like, he's talked about this before. Like, this past offseason was kind of abnormal for him, with guys that have started and played big moments leaving the team, like Javen Coleman, for example, and I guess Dutton's maybe another example. There's a bunch of others I'm probably not thinking of right now. Cam Johnson, a young guy that left the program.
Brady
Neal.
See ya.
Obviously, it's different times now with NIL and the portal and things like that. But I think that he does a good job of giving guys transparent information about where they stand in the program. And, you know, maybe he did, speculation obviously, maybe he did tell him that the opportunity might be better somewhere else. Maybe not directly, but indirectly, in the fact that he gave him his standing in the program heading into the offseason and what he needed to do and what his outlook was for 25, and he didn't like that. And the family things lined up and everything else lined up, and it's been great for him. I would love to see that matchup again, you know, in Hoover, something.
Yeah, that's where Jay called him an Omaha team, and they looked the part. I mean, shit.
Certainly did.
I didn't see LSU getting swept at any
I mean,
point.
they've won. They got swept by Georgia, and they've won every series since then.
It was at Georgia?
I think so.
Yeah, their strength of schedule, I think, is number 1 in college baseball.
Wow.
And they'd only been swept by UGA, but besides that, you know, they've taken 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3, or 2 out of 3, whatever.
It's a different battle.
Yeah.
Do what?
I said Georgia at Georgia is a different beast.
It's just the SEC, though. Like,
no, they're just a little park. And Auburn's baseball field was weird.
Yes.
Like, I've obviously seen LSU play there a million times, but to see how it was navigated, you saw Curiel take bad routes, and you saw like even Stanfield, who's played there.
Who should have been that was my thing when he missed that one in the triple in center field, where he just kind of, I was like, I feel like he should have been.
But I think, didn't they change the park since he left?
They did renovate it.
Okay.
But it's always had that big wall, and it's always had those weird dimensions.
Very weird.
Strange, man. And like I said before, some of the shots that they had would have been home runs at the box, you know, off the wall, and Jake Brown was close to a homer. And, just really weird.
Everything, it was.
But, you know, you don't want to make excuses. That was a great team.
Yes, Auburn played well.
And LSU had its struggles at points, but they do a great job of getting back on track quickly. I thought they would find a way to do that Saturday, Sunday. Jay said after the game that, you know, he really was in a fine place because if they catch those 2 fly balls, it's a different game. You know, like that game was there for the taking, he was saying. It's not like they just didn't have it and they mailed it in the first inning. There were opportunities to string things together, and they just couldn't put that last piece together.
They didn't get
they get throttled.
No, and every bad break.
Yes.
You broke.
Right.
That's fine.
Never broke your way.
Right. Not one time. Not one good thing happened.
Yeah.
No,
so I'm fine with it.
Yep.
Whatever.
Shake
if
back.
they lose to Big Nice, watch out.
Yeah.
We have to ban
Be a
Tiger Drop.
I think different show on Wednesday morning.
Jay Orgeron. Oh God.
Jay Miles. How about that?
How about that? Well, if you won something,
Jay
has a national championship.
Yeah. What would he do without Skeens, though?
They respond well.
They do. They do. I think
Aside from Paul Skeens,
I'm going to be in the box
what has
Tuesday
Jay Johnson
night.
ever done?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe got Paul Skeens and won.
Arizona was 1 out away from a national championship. Where are they now?
Yep.
Last year they were 1 strike away from going to Omaha.
Yeah. Hosting a super.
They would have won that, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yep.
Nobody's sicker, than Jay.
No, not at all. It's not even
that
close.
man has missed more sleep.
Not even close.
Like, I think he slept good probably one night in his life.
Probably.
With that trophy tucked right next to him.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's the SEC, too. Like, they swept Oklahoma last weekend, and they just absolutely throttled Vanderbilt.
Right.
Oklahoma did. So, it's just A&M is finally finding itself.
Yeah.
Like, there's lulls and there's highs. And maybe LSU had the high early now they're going to have a little bit of a lull. Maybe that was it, and they'll get back on track.
That's the hope. Stop the lull there. But we'll take a quick break, and we'll be back, and we'll close it out.
What a weird show.
Here on, very odd show. We'll close it out here on this Monday morning as we're getting the week started.
Wrestling is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Click Here Digital, the home of the Jordy Culotta Show. Online at clickheredigital.com. If you're looking to set Google ads, set social media campaigns, learn about SEO, display video, or even creative, Click Here Digital has the answer for you. Online at clickheredigital.com or email me directly, Jordy at clickheredigital.com.
Family calls family. That saying resonates even more as your family grows. And we can't seem to stop growing. Meet the newest member of the Get Gordon family, Penny's cousin Rosie. Rosie already knows, the larger your family, the more people you have to lift you up during trying times. Just like at Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys, we've grown to over 200 team members with over 50 local attorneys. So whether you pick Penny, employ Ellie, roll with Rosie, or get Gordon, we want to be your lawyers for life.
Your lawyers for life.
Phil's Oyster Bar, a staple of South Louisiana since 1945, located in Southdown Shopping Center and online at philsoysterbar.com. If you log online, you can learn about the private party schedule, the catering menu, and even order online. Daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Learn about the history of Gus Piazza. Took it over in the early 70s, made it an absolute stop-in for everyone who came through Baton Rouge, and now Anthony, his son, carrying on the tradition. Phil's Oyster Bar, Southdown Shopping Center, and online, philsoysterbar.com.
It's rare to find someone you can count on when it's go time. It's even more rare to find someone you can count on, all the time. At Sunshine, we're proud to offer the John Deere equipment you need and the team can defend on and off the field. Learn more about what it means to be powered by Sunshine at sunequip.com.
All right, we're back here on this Monday morning. Very sad, odd, weird show. We appreciate you guys hanging through with us. There was some news on the basketball front that we'll touch on before we get to some games and stuff to close it out. Men's basketball, Curtis Givens announces he's returning. Woo! Official announcement from Jalen Reed that he's returning. Woo! And then Robert Miller III, to me the biggest one of them all, announces he's returning. So 3 very big announcements for LSU men's basketball to add to the successful poor offseason. Lloyd,
you have a full team.
You have a team. You have a roster. Play 5. You can go play. You can compete just by putting out 5 on the court. So good weekend news wise for LSU men's basketball. And then women's basketball, Flau'jae Johnson got everybody up in arms.
I thought April 1st was on April 1st.
April Fools?
April Fools.
Yeah, I thought April Fools was way past.
Nope.
Flau'jae puts out on Twitter just a tweet that says 4 out. And I'm seeing this, and I started freaking out a little bit. It's like, we just announced that you're coming back. What are you doing? And then she's on her Instagram. It says 4 junior year out, big announcement coming. The announcement ended up being that she was on tour with Boss Man D-Lo, which good for her. I mean, I'm very happy. I'm excited that I like Boss Man. So, you know,
what's your favorite song?
My favorite song?
Yeah.
Mr. Pot Scraper.
All right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool, that's what they called me in high school.
Oh yeah. Oh, Mr. Pot Scraper.
Oh, Mr. Lloyd.
But so she announces she's on tour. Great announcement. She definitely got LSU fans up in arms a little bit with her tweet, because it was just like officially announced that she was returning. And so now she is returning. She will be on LSU's team next season. She will still be wearing number 4. All of the different things that got thrown out in the ether by her cryptic tweet have been calmed. Jersey Wolfenbarger officially entered the portal a few days after it was announced that she would be staying with the team. She was even at the banquet, the end of season banquet for LSU women's basketball. She was there, and then the next day she announced the portal entry.
This is confusing.
So cryptic, dude.
With
the
sad emoji.
The sad emoji, the tiger, the
That would be
pictures.
so much fun to do.
Like the power she holds in her hand. Like she was like, it's almost like she had like a realization of like,
I could do something.
I
here.
hold so much power.
People care.
Because like the day before, she's on her podcast and she says, I want to graduate a tiger. Like she says that. And so everybody's like, okay. I mean, there's the official announcement that she's coming back. And then the next day that gets tweeted.
4 hours.
And it's just unbelievable. And so, but she will be returning. So all in all, some good news for men's and women's basketball over the weekend, as I believe both teams will still be very much working in the portal. Hopefully to hear some big announcements women basketball-wise on some portal additions soon, because they do need to add a couple more pieces. The 3 freshmen performed very well in the I forget what it's called, the Hoop Summit. 2 Knox and Johnson were on USA. Bella Hines was on Team World. They all played pretty well. Malaysia Fulwiley entered the transfer portal, the South Carolina point guard. I saw her now. I don't know exactly where she would fit on LSU's roster. She's a ball down piece, but she is an undeniable talent, and she has entered with a do not contact tag.
So I've already been contacted.
That means she knows where she's going.
Speaking of,
Lloyd, don't call her
Nico.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
I am a lever.
I'm gonna leave her.
I'm leaving.
What did I tell you about these little spring games?
Yeah.
I told you about the portal. Y'all brushed it off.
What did you say?
I said, is that not part of something that could be part of a conversation with the transfer portal opening up again the spring window if LSU to be buyers or sellers? And then it became people negotiating for themselves because the way that college football is currently constructed, you can do this.
Yeah.
Like, go hold your team hostage because there's no real who's stopping you. Like, if you put yourself like, thank God for Garrett Nussmeier.
Yes,
because like there's a real world where like if you get Michigan and Bryce Underwood now that he's enemy of the state, who's stopping him from going to the portal after 1 year?
Re-signing, rediscussing that $12 million contract.
Entering contract negotiations.
Yeah. Well, Josh Pate goes out, I think, on his show yesterday.
Yeah.
Said that the conversation about a contract negotiation was stirred up before the playoff game. Like between him and Tennessee.
That would explain why they lost by like 4.
He was going to opt out of the playoff game to negotiate a new contract.
Yeah, it's funny that he does that and then he goes out and plays absolutely terribly.
But yeah, I mean he
threw the game.
They got walloped.
I wouldn't pay that man $4.
I wouldn't if that was the discussion being had. I would not have put that man on the football field.
And that's why he kicked him off the team. They're sick of his crap.
Yeah, I am glad that Tennessee handled it the way they did and didn't act because I understand. I'm for NIL. There needs to be some of the revenue needs to be shared. They need to be able to make money off of their name. They need to be able to get a brand deal. If Powerade wants to sponsor them, let them. If I'm a student at LSU and Powerade wants to sponsor me, they can. But because they're an athlete, they can't. I get that. But the combination of the collectives and this unlimited transfer portal world, to me, the transfer portal more than anything is what needs to be fixed. You should not be able to TJ Finley your way through college and play at a different school every year and just show up and start. You should have to sit out after a certain number. You should have to have all these things. And so I'm glad Tennessee handled it the way they did and just went like, look, You want that new contract? We're not doing it. You want to leave? Do it.
You say that until he goes to a USC, Notre Dame, whoever needs a quarterback, because it's the most important position in the sport. And Notre Dame has played this game already, where they went and got a quarterback, got a quarterback. Like, somebody's going to pay him to play. He's not going to sit out a year.
Yeah, I think he probably ends up at UCLA, because it can't be an SEC team,
right?
So it has to be out.
That's
I think
the one
he goes
rule
back to California.
And what's stopping him? To be honest, like, what if the SEC does? What if Alabama's like, we do need a quarterback?
I mean, I don't. I guess there's.
I don't even know what the rules are anymore.
Yeah, me neither. I don't really know what would happen.
There aren't any. This is
pretty much no.
It's crazy that you can, like, before basically the spring game.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you know what? Why don't we revisit the contract situation? And Nico was one of the few that signed out of high school with an NIL
massive
deal that was supposed to be like, oh no, this is a 3-year thing. But okay, you can say it's a 3-year contract, but I want to renegotiate after year 1.
Do you think he performed well enough to renegotiate?
Heck no.
I don't.
He had 19 touchdowns, I think.
I think, but Tennessee's in such a spot they recruited just him.
Yeah.
Like, they don't.
I mean, they married.
Yeah,
Nico.
that was part of, like, that was like, get Josh Heupel a quarterback, but
Right.
Josh Heupel in his mind is going, I can make anybody a quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, that offense plays.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
And this is also, I think a lot of it is turned into Nico's dad,
Yes.
which he was saying, like, none of these reports are true, and Pete Heimel was like, yes, they are. Like, I talked to the coach.
Pete Thamel?
Pete
Nakos.
Nakos.
0-3. Yeah.
On 3.
Yeah.
Was like, yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's real.
Yeah, he's like, it's slandering my son's name. It's like, get off Twitter.
Yeah, just
because
stop.
you're lying.
Just stop.
Well, he's probably, I'm speculating, but he's probably behind a lot of it. You know?
He is.
Sometimes
Yeah.
the parents get involved too much with the kid, and these guys are 18, 19 years old. I mean, you grow up listening to your parents for every word. You know? Yeah. But I like how they handled it. I like what Heupel said about the brand, about Tennessee. Like, these college football blue blood brands, the 3 letters LSU wears on its helmet, the T that Tennessee wears, the Block M, all of it has been there long before these kids have stepped foot on campus. They'll be there long after they exit campus. It's not about the player. It's about the program. It's about the tradition. It should always be that way. It has always been that way. And as much as NIL and collectives and money are changing little bits and pieces of that, it still comes down to having a great team, having a great culture, having a great locker room, and the fans and everybody being happy with what team you're putting out there and how they're representing the university. So anything that goes against that, I think you got to cut it at its core, and that's what they did.
Yep, because per Josh Pate, this stuff was happening last December during the playoffs, with this kid included, but not just this kid. They were trying to get more money from Tennessee and other playoff teams before the playoffs. They're trying to leverage playoff participation, which is fucking disgusting.
Golly,
the explainer was, our client is being paid X amount of money to participate in 12 games. Maybe a 13th if you make the conference championship game. But you guys made the playoff, you should make more money.
It's disgusting.
This is the kind of bullshit that's happening behind the scenes right now.
It's like you're a rapper going on tour, and you're like, I'm not doing a free show. Like, what? You're getting a scholarship, you're getting your books paid for, you're getting meals, you are getting viewed by millions upon millions of people to grow your brand.
And the goal is to get drafted. This is where that happens. You don't want to play in it, don't play in it.
Well, and you should
discuss to leverage a college football playoff game of saying you can't win this game without me. So holding a program hostage before a playoff game is disgusting.
And that's where I think it's clearly not like the kid doing it. Like, this is the agency. This is a family situation.
I would be very much surprised if a 18, 19-year-old, their dream of playing in a national championship game is saying, I'm not going to do it if you don't pay me.
You know what you do? You probably hold out here. Like that shouldn't even be a thought. And I don't think it is like a real competition for guys that want to compete.
Right.
Like, I didn't play 12 games to not play the 13th.
Yeah, like, I didn't do all that work to be 9-3 and get a playoff bid
or
to sit out and not have the chance.
12-0.
Right. Like,
not playing. Like, I don't think that's coming from the kid.
It can't.
Still, though, you know, it's hard, like I said, because you look up to your parents, you listen to them.
Of course.
But this is your name kind of being dragged through the mud. So at a certain point, if you're Nico, you got to step up and say, hey, this is my brand. This is my identity. This is my name. I got to take care of my own business. So if it is the parent making the decisions, at a certain point, you got to say, hey, this is my life, and kind of separate.
Right.
And it's hard. You know,
yeah,
it's difficult.
I couldn't
it
imagine.
might cause a strain in the family.
Couldn't imagine being in that position.
If that's the situation, man, you got to intervene and intersect and take control of your life and what you're doing, because usually when things like this happen, it doesn't work out very well. When you get into money chasing and things like that, historically, at least from a college standpoint, things have not really worked out.
Well, think about the way if Nico gets, he plays somewhere else next season, he's the starting quarterback. Think about the way everyone, from scouts to fans to coaches to media members to playoff exec to anybody, think about their way they're going to watch his games. They're going to be essentially hate watching to some extent
he's a black hat.
like waiting for him to fail. And then when it happens, like the detriment that can do to your son, your 18-year-old child of, I'm going to put you in the position, and I get betting on yourself, whatever. There are much better ways to handle things than to put your son in a position where everyone wants to see him fail.
So I can get a jet ski.
So that you can have a nicer car. Like, how about you put your son in a position to succeed? Like, if he goes out there and balls out, I don't think there's going to be this overwhelming celebration by the fan bases of, yay, he did it.
Unless it's whoever gets him.
Right, of course.
And they'll be like, yeah, that's what you paid for.
But
But
I'm just saying
also,
from
like,
a
this is what we paid for?
A national perspective of, there's a whole lot more weight on the failure end than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, there is Pandora's box has relatively been open for Nico of the first interception he throws is going to be officially open,
open season.
Like, it's done.
It's the same with Bryce Underwood. You
Yeah.
know? Like, people are going to watch him now and say, "Man, they paid $12 million for this," and
Right.
watching him. You're getting into NFL territory where when you watch Derek Carr, thank you, they paid him a ton of money, and he's not meeting the standard.
My shoulder hurts.
Yeah. So now that stuff is
pissed
going to
off.
be in the college game.
Getting angry.
Before, it was about celebrating guys putting their bodies on the line for, the university, and now it's more about how much money they make or don't make. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot better quarterbacks that could be paid this money.
Yes.
That haven't. I think the whole thing's just odd. Like, you look at his statistics, you watch the film. It's not like this guy is the college Patrick Mahomes. There are far better quarterbacks in college football.
That's
Garrett
Dylan
Nussmeier
Raiola.
included. Yeah. That aren't getting this money, and they don't
Right.
care, because for them, they're content with their situation and also hopeful about their future. They will make this money down the road.
Right. And then it's an unbelievable position for the sport to be in.
Right, because it's, I've always been on the side of college athletes deserve to be paid, and they
Yes,
sound like
100%.
a curmudgeon when you go, oh, they're getting this and that and this
It
and
shouldn't
that.
even be a debate if they should deserve some sort of monetary value
But
or
this
not.
is, I mean,
This is laughable.
also good business.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, look, if you look at it from all perspectives.
If you take the emotion out of it, but that's what college football is built on. It's built on the emotion, the pageantry, the
love.
brand. Like,
Yes.
you want to be out there because it was like you're playing for essentially the pride of the program. And
But now
it's-
parents are exploiting
like,
their children.
if in the NFL, if Mahomes is like not playing in the playoffs, like, what do you mean? Well, I need more money. You can't negotiate that way because the NFL is constructed to where you can't.
Well, and in NFL contracts, you get a bonus for winning playoff games and touchdown numbers and yard stats and sacks and all of the. You win a Super Bowl, you get, like Brian Kelly, if he makes a playoff in his contract, he gets extra. What are those words? What's it called? Incentives. Yes. Like, he gets an incentive for making a playoff, for winning a national championship, for winning an SEC championship. So I guess one way to solve this problem would be for the schools in these contracts to apply the same sort of incentives for the athlete.
I just don't think contracts like this should exist. I like
I
what they're
agree.
getting to, the rev sharing.
Yes.
Because the thing I hate about Major League Baseball is that there's no salary cap,
Right.
And I like to see the SEC baseball, like every different team is good aside from
I'm
Missouri.
not going to start in Omaha.
Right.
Right.
It's not the Dodgers or
Well-
the Yankees, where the two richest teams
Yes.
are the two teams
That's
playing
my point.
in the
And we can
World
defer
Series.
payment until 2090.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
unbelievable.
we'll catch you on the back end.
Yeah.
No, like that's my
Yeah.
point. I don't want to see like 6 teams with the biggest booster and collective dominate the sport every year. Like Ohio State last year had a
$20
big
million
bank,
roster.
and they ended up, going and winning the national championship. I like what we're getting to in that every team kind of has a similar amount of money, and if individuals want to sign brand deals based on their social media following or
Yes.
whatever it is, aside from that, good for them, But in terms of having an actual contract with a team through an NIL, I mean, that's dangerous territory, and
I agree.
examples like this are prime, they take center stage.
Yeah, and I think the transfer portal is another route to just if you just put a ruling in place that you can't
one-time transfer.
Yeah,
I think
one-time free transfer.
Yeah. Which is what I thought it was, but now I don't
That's
even
what it
know
was supposed
Yeah,
to
that's
be.
what it's supposed to be. And now it is just transfer as much. Like you saw the one guy in college basketball where he was at Ohio State, transferred to South Carolina, back to Ohio State. Now he's back to South Carolina. Like it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah,
I would love to see the numbers on how many people enter the portal, transfer elsewhere, and then come back to the original school that they transferred from. Because it's not like super common, but it's happened enough times to be like,
it's a trend.
Something's going on. Like
Amorian Walker from Ponchatoula, he transferred from Michigan to Ole Miss, back to Michigan. Now he's back in the portal.
Right, like
to Ole Miss probably.
Maybe
it's there's a lot of the grass is greener type of situation. Like one of my friends, Carlos Stewart, played at basketball at LSU for the one season under Matt McMahon. He grew up at Central, went to Dunham, was the Gatorade Player of the Year. Goes to Santa Clara, has a really good, I think 2 seasons, 1 season. Transfers to LSU. He's back at Santa Clara. Those are the sorts of situations where you're seeing a lot of people enter the portal and go back where they start. Like, I'm running it back.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, you kind of left.
It's weird.
And now you're here again.
It used to be a big disadvantage to transfer, because you had to sit out
a year.
Like,
Yeah.
those guys oftentimes failed to revive their careers when they left.
Yeah.
And I don't want it to be like that, but I mean,
yeah, I think you could get to a world where you could transfer once. Next time you transfer,
sit out a year.
Yeah. That's what it should be.
Unless it's like an injury thing or there's certain type of waivers, but you should be able to transfer one time and that's it.
Stuff's crazy right now, man. I mean, you got
It's a
guys
mess.
going from UAB to Power 4 teams in basketball. Like every year, your team is different.
Yes.
Your basketball team, your starting five can be completely
basketball
different.
is a different monster.
It's just insane, man. Like it used to be so different. You had guys for 3 or 4 years.
Well, now you've got essentially feeder programs of these
Right.
these
I feel bad for 'em,
these
honestly.
mid-major schools that are finding this talent that's in the rough and doing the work and recruiting and
See ya.
developing, and then the second they have a good year, it's
bye.
See you. And those schools should be rewarded in some way.
Well, that's what.
But then you get into another messy situation of that kind of takes away from the player's ability to choose where they're going, because now this school doesn't think it's worth it to pay, Norfolk State $500,000 to get my, whatever. It's just it's a
and this
a
whole
messy
the
world.
whole thing started because the coaches can leave whenever they want.
They can, and they have buyouts.
Yeah.
Others like McNeese is in a great spot.
That's what I'm saying. He did it right by the program.
100%. So I mean, we're gonna get into the Derek Carr stuff tomorrow, because I want to have a free reign type of first hour to just let it rip, because Christian's already getting fired up over there. So
I saw a tweet. I think, like I told you before, he was in France over the weekend. But somebody was like,
"Raw,
bro went to France, but he can't go to the French Quarter."
No, I mean that's right. It's just I'm gonna get angry thinking about it, because it's just such a.
But
from
an organizational standpoint, I know you want to dive into it. How do you let that happen? Like, do you just have $50 million in your back pocket?
How do you?
Like, what?
Did they not have a physical or something beforehand of? Because to me, the way it plays out, and we'll go more into it tomorrow, but the way it plays out is, in my opinion, from what I've seen, he goes into the offseason, he tries to get traded. That doesn't happen. They're not able to move him. So he signs the contract, renegotiation, the restructuring, whatever.
Guaranteed.
The second he got that guaranteed money restructured and put it in a different spot, he decides,
I'm hurt.
Like, that's, in my opinion, from where I'm sitting looking at it, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
It's not even a good grift.
No. Like, it looks blatantly, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, he doesn't
And
care.
on the Saints end, how do you allow this to happen? Like, how laughable of a franchise are you that you don't run a physical? You don't have, because if you have a physical before that contract renegotiation, you can say, no, look right here.
He's
it
hurt.
says you're fully healthy.
Yeah.
Like, so don't pull that, you're healthy. Or it says you're hurt, we can't sign you this deal if you're hurt. Or in that new contract say, put yourself in some sort of position to be protected
There
from.
might be, but there also could be and we'll talk to Nick Underhill about it, because he was popular over the weekend on Twitter, and it could be one of those things like maybe you're paying to make your problems go away. Like, take it and go. Because he doesn't want to be here. The Saints don't want him. The Saints fan base certainly doesn't want him. He's like, this is fucking miserable.
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, good, go. Here's
just
how much to make you go away.
This is an embarrassment for the franchise that's already had such an embarrassing year. Of you start out 2-0 and everybody's bebopping around and crime rates are down and everybody's happy, and then it just goes into an all-out crumble. And now you go into the offseason and you're getting more embarrassed because you go out and you hire your new coach and somehow you decide to not rebuild, which I thought the second they traded Marshawn Lattimore to the Commanders, the decision was made, okay, we're rebuilding. This is a reset on the way. And you go hire a new coach and you don't do that. You instead decide we're going to restructure, we're going to retool, and we're going to run it back next year. And now you've been completely deceived by your quarterback to say, how are you going to rebuild, rerun without a quarterback? And it's just it's an embarrassing year for the franchise.
I'm not even a Saints fan and I'm pissed off.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing. And then on the Pelicans, like the Pelicans are in the same. Look at Christian. It's just for New Orleans professional sports to have the Pelicans and the Saints both in such
disarray.
embarrassing disarray, terrible places where. Who knows? Like, the word around town is David Griffin and Willie Green are both on the way out. But who do you truly believe that any of that's actually going to happen?
I got your solution. Let's bring an NHL team to NOLA. Fix all the problems.
That's owned by somebody different, please.
Yeah, I think that would be the only thing that makes people happy.
Like, I don't want to get into the full Bash Gale type of mindset.
She's an old woman.
But something has to change. Like, you are in complete hell in your professionals. Like, I see a bright future for neither franchise. I don't see anything really positive. Zion played well, yeah. Is he going to play next year? Only God knows. Saints think
Zion
they have
must be quite the lover, because you got girls
yeah,
fighting over him.
He'd have that stalker. Christian's our New Orleans here. He's from Covington, but he counts.
That video of his old girl is incredible.
Yeah, it's awful. But so we'll get into the full New Orleans
discussion. I don't that.
Vomit.
What does it feel like?
That's it. Yeah. Bags of sand.
Does it feel like water?
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to go find. I guess we need you to find out. Your girlfriend's gonna break up with you.
No, I think it's a compliment. He's like, not interested.
There you go. Fair enough.
He's an all-natural man.
He's an all-natural guy.
You gotta tear it down though.
Yeah.
Oh, her?
It up.
No.
With all due respect.
With all due respect, I'd knock it out the park. But let's get to these. Let's get some positive vibes flowing with these games.
All right.
Goodness gracious.
Oh my God. Van Pelt.
Yeah, Scott.
Is this the sports one?
Yes.
Why is Isotopes on there? What the hell is that?
I have no idea.
That is a hockey team.
Oh, I know. I do know the Storm, and then we have one more. Would be There you go. Good job, Lloyd.
Thank you. I'm here.
Aces, the Fever, are both WNBA teams.
Isotopes WNBA?
No, I don't think so.
The Express?
Oh, we have hockey. We have helmet, skates, gloves, stick.
Yeah.
It's part of
Where's stick? See, these are the ones whenever you have helmet, skates, gloves, stick, you're like, yeah, children do play this game.
Yeah. Fair enough. All right. Quick pitch, wild pitch, payoff pitch.
There you go.
And then fever pitch? I don't know.
Aces in terms of pitchers?
I guess. Let's see.
Let's that.
Oh, and then Express Aces, Isotopes, Chihuahua.
What's a
this
Chihuahua?
Has to be like minor league baseball or something.
Alexandria Aces?
Let's go.
No, they were independent, but that was a good time to go to an Aces game. Everybody gets paid a pizza.
Everybody gets paid a pizza at the Aces games?
Yeah, well, the players don't think they made a lot of money.
Oh, fair enough.
Independent ball.
Yeah, no, a little bit of indie ball. Never hurt nobody?
Nope.
There we go.
I don't know how I'd feel about my team being the Chihuahuas.
I would love it. Elite logo has to. Let's see.
It's got it. Yeah, we need to pull up. Me and my buddy actually the other night, we were all on minorleaguebaseball.com looking at all of the hats that they have because
they're all awesome.
The logos are unbelievable because you run out of the major league hats. Like there's only so many cool logos they make. The El Paso Chihuahuas.
This shit is sick.
Let me see it.
Looks like a what was Michael Vick's? Oh, Ron Mexico.
Because then there's like the Montgomery Biscuits, I think, has a really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty tough.
That's fire.
Yeah.
I do hate a Chihuahua, I tell you what.
I had a Chihuahua.
Disgusting.
Really?
As a child. I got hit by an 18-wheeler.
I'm not a Chihuahua guy.
They're rodents.
They're rats.
They're mean as fuck.
I know. That's why they're so close to the ground, because they're closer to Satan. They're so small. I'm sorry if anybody's a Chihuahua listener, but
I'm a Chihuahua fan.
I've got a golden retriever. I like a bigger dog.
Your dog is okay.
Thank you.
This dog.
I prefer a cat over a Chihuahua. It's a demon.
Looks like it would rob a bank or a 7-Eleven. If you're wearing this hat, you're a felon.
Fair enough. Cool hat, Brian Burgess says.
Oh, Brian Burgess. Sneaky.
Felon. Brian, you dog. You Chihuahua, you.
This is nasty work. Even the font. This is terrifying.
I wonder what the Albuquerque Isotopes look like.
It's a little...
You know that?
Yep.
Maybe it's like...
it's the 2 dots, like isotope. It's science stuff. Y'all wouldn't
science.
get it.
Yeah, we wouldn't know. Not like it. Oh yeah, no, I see it.
Maybe it's the face of.
I do like that's a. I mean, that's a. I don't like the font for Isotopes. That's kind of wonky.
Yeah, they gave up.
Definitely.
What if it was the candid headshot from Breaking Bad of?
That's what it's. Yeah.
I forget what the name was. Heisenberg. Yeah.
Heisenberg.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah, that's fire.
That'd be interesting.
They also went.
Cool. What?
Very Tete la Muerte. I don't know why the Isotopes have this hat, but I like it.
That is a nice hat.
I think
also
I've seen
felon
that before, on like a, bottle of
tequila.
Yeah.
Ah, see.
Love it.
Muy bien.
Had some tequila this week.
Brian Burgess, my sister had a Chihuahua, which was the sweetest dog, not me at all. I have to see it to believe it, to be honest with you, Brian.
You weren't there the whole time.
I trust you. I trust you to an extent, Brian. This is definitely where my trust in you is getting stretched thin, because I don't believe
we're in the 5th inning and Eric Snow's coming to the plate.
Yeah.
Did you see Jay's face before that at bat on the broadcast?
Yeah.
And then, how about him being on the broadcast? Like, whenever he was in the in-game, and it was like,
dude, I hate that they have to
my
do
favorite,
that.
Dude, my favorite thing is when he takes the headset off.
I'm
always like if my parents are in there, I'm like, y'all watch this. He's doing it. Yeah, I mean, all right, Jay, appreciate you. Yep.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you cannot get that thing off fast enough, man.
I mean, it is kind of tough because they got to focus on the game. Like, every at-bat matters.
No other sport does an live interview.
Football now is, in basketball, out of the timeouts.
But
not during the action. Yeah.
Imagine talking to Bill Belichick, 3rd and 6.
What?
Like,
if you ask his girlfriend to do it, he'll do it.
Yeah.
Right. Imagine Coach K.
Ring camera god, Bill Belichick. Oh, shit.
Whoops. God,
no, I think it is stupid, though. It's fine when the players are on that pitch the day before.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
That's the cool aspect.
Jay charts everything. Like
that's
every play,
he's a part of the game.
He is so not present during the interview that it's like it's palpable. He's like, I would rather be doing anything else.
Yeah.
I'd rather walk into traffic.
And these games aren't even on linear television. Some of them, like, we're not dying to hear from.
Yeah, they paired Lynn with a stranger, and that guy had.
Dude. It was my favorite part of the weekend. Was that this
guy
had no clue what he was sitting next to.
An enigma.
Because Lynn's like, Lynn at one point said about Zach Cowan was pitching yesterday. He was like, he could throw a tater tot through an onion ring. And this guy was like, what did you just say?
Yeah.
It was the best, dude. Lynn Rollins is a legend.
Oh,
and this other guy was in a completely different
trying to
ballgame.
call a real game.
Yeah.
You go to Tater Tot. Oh, there's a 905, probably somewhere in Baton Rouge.
Pucker up!
Pucker up!
And kiss that baby goodbye.
Suck it!
It was awesome, dude.
He had his moments. I thought his analysis was good at times, but then there were times where he was like, "Oh, I knew a."
Let Lynn go.
Yeah.
Lynn is he could have a radio or he could be a live broadcast for 365 days right now.
He could replace me in this seat, and he could probably go live for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And do a daily.
He's like
daily
NPR.
show.
He's
Yeah.
old school radio.
He's the best.
Oh, I do know.
He's the best.
I knew a Jay once. Like, okay, let's go. Let's see where this goes.
He's one of those guys. I had when I was doing my my driving school.
Yeah.
And I'm learning to drive. And the old guy that's sitting, my driving instructor. We're driving, and every time we'd pull up behind a new vehicle at a red light, he would look at the license plate, and the 3 letters or the 3 numbers that he saw on that license plate, it would trigger something in his mind. And so he'd see, like, that license plate is, GFL 318. He'd be like, well, the 318's North Louisiana, and I actually have a cousin that lives there.
Oh, God.
And so, like, to me, like, that was the worst part of my drives, is every red light we'd stop, he would see a license plate that said something.
666.
And it would remind him of something. And so the next 30 minutes of our drive, he's talking about this license plate until he sees the next
be
one.
Another one.
And it would do.
And that you're in a loop of hell. That's infinite.
What's he gonna do when there's a paper one that just says a bunch of random crap?
I don't know. I was praying.
Last
for one
time
of
I
those.
saw a paper license
I was
plate.
praying for some sort of criminal to be in front of me without a license plate, and it was just.
Brian Burns, his sister Chihuahua, got put down.
Rest in peace.
Gidget.
Yeah, what was the Chihuahua's name? Kenny Bilal, Lynn Rollins is the best.
It might just be us. It might be an acquired.
I think it is.
Yeah, I couldn't have. The guy from Texas holds a special place at my asshole.
Don't get me
because
fired.
I hate him.
Special place where?
Yeah.
Not in your heart? No, in your
Just never want to listen to him again, but I
thinker.
love him.
Rocket. Yeah.
Hey, Rocket.
No, I mean, he earned my respect to get that position as an absolute fan.
But I would imagine
it's impressive.
If you listen to Lynn for the first time, you have to be going, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And we're like, "Oh no, this is part of it."
This is it.
Well, apparently he does a lot of Auburn games. He kind of lives over
Really?
there and
Okay.
commutes to Baton Rouge.
Wow.
That's a long
Who?
commute.
Guy's a legend. Lynn.
Lynn lives in Pineville.
Does
Really?
he?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, Lynn's a legend.
Alexandria used to.
I know he does a lot of Auburn games.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's the easy drive.
He just drives a lot. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, my favorite was again the LSU softball against Alabama 2 weekends ago. They win the game, I think, at the end, and he goes, "Well, LSU softball can't part the Red Sea, but they have tamed the Crimson Tide." Oh, dude, I threw my phone in the air, and I was like, "This guy's the
That's
greatest
it.
of all time."
Respect to a legend.
It's Lynn Rollins
Linsanity.
and Jim Nance. How about Jim this weekend, huh?
He's the best.
He's the greatest of all time with Lynn.
And he announced
Him and
his
Lynn.
retirement in 2036.
We only have 11 more years of Jim Nance.
And we got 100 more years of Lynn.
My favorite Jim Nance is just when he gets into the zone on a putt, and here it is, stepping forward.
For glory.
McElroy has his masterpiece. It was unbelievable.
Do you think he practices in the mirror?
Definitely.
Like his
Shower?
poor wife. Yeah. Like, Jim, you're going to get it. You got it.
You're good, Jim.
That's the one.
You know you're the greatest of all time, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to work at this anymore. McElroy has his masterpiece after the putt sinks and Rory's crying on the greens.
He went too far.
Who?
Rory?
No.
You don't have to get on all fours.
He went back to 2011 when that putt went in. Like, he was, 21 again?
Yeah.
Well, just think about when you see like Tiger Woods when he got it in 2000 and some of the other historical
Right.
videos. Like
He didn't
that's
lie down on the
moment,
green.
You know,
He hadn't.
that hadn't happened in 25
11
years.
years since his last major.
And he still almost choked it away.
He still almost found a way.
That was unbelievable.
But he pulled it off.
We did form a future looks bright for some of these kids. We had some 6 and 7-year-olds run around the party.
Really?
Dollar bets,
Uh-huh.
and they picked up on it pretty quick,
Ruining
and they were
the
winning a
future.
lot because we're all drunk. And then I was like,
"Oh, they were grifting you."
Not me. I saw it happening, and I was like, oh,
I know how you kids
and
operate.
for Rory's first put on 18, I was like $5 missed, and he was like, yeah, I took all of his money. And he's
Suck
like,
it, kid.
He looked at his dad, he's like, that's gambling.
Shout out to the dad. Come on, dude. Give my kid his money back.
No. Throw him in the pool.
Eat it. Eat this 5. Gone. But, yeah. How about Rory?
The Roars on Sunday.
Yep. That was the first, I was born in 2002, so this is my first ever witnessing of a Grand Slam. I didn't get to see Tiger get his. So.
I mean, it's only happened 5 times.
Right? Only twice in the last 50 years. But, I mean, you watched it in 2000 when Tiger got his.
Did I?
Right?
That 97 Masters is an absolute gem.
See, 19 was mine because it was
19.
It was different, yeah.
I told you. We did the Masters party that year.
Yeah.
Threw up in a gas station parking lot. I cried. I
So it was
threw
a good
up.
day.
That was great.
It was the best day
Don't
of his
remember
life.
anything after that putt went in.
Dude. But yeah, Rory's approach shot.
And we got Charlie coming up. Chuck Woods.
Oh, yeah? Oh,
One
yeah.
day.
Charlie's, yeah.
I don't know how old he is, but he looks like an avatar.
Yeah, no, he's going to be like, dude.
He's on something.
He's going to win his first major at, 16 right now? Probably 17. Just pop in and crush somebody. But I got to rub it in my brother's face. I like Bryson DeChambeau. My brother is like he's on the YouTube
fan.
He loves Bryson. And so I wanted Scotty to win because
I had money
I
on
like
Scotty also.
And so Bryson jumps ahead of Scotty. Scotty kind of trickles down on day 3, and Max is like rubbing it in. Like, watch this. Bryson's going to win. Watch.
I thought he was going to win, too.
Me too. And then Bryson kind of fell apart yesterday, and Scotty jumped ahead of him in 4th place, and I was like, told ya.
I lost to Calcutta by 1.
Really?
Dude, Justin Rose.
How about it?
Thank you for making the putt. Because we got all-time drama.
Yeah.
He was on the range hitting balls, and I was like, did you really think? I was like, what is Rory?
Yeah.
I got a chance. And
That
like,
was
all right,
awesome.
let's go tee it up one more time. And then the amount of people that watch golf, all of these collective brain power, we have this huge party. We're like, where do they? 18, right?
Yeah.
11, 7. I was like, they start on 18.
I think it was 18, 10.
I think
Back
we're
to
just
18,
going to
huh?
alternate.
Yeah, you just go 18 and 10, yeah.
That was awesome, though. Just
And
like,
it's like first playoff, I was like, do they play more than one? I was like, no, unless they tie.
Yeah, when they both crushed the drive. It was 2 great drives on
Yeah.
each side, and then Rory's approach was just
Oh, Randy Jones went to the Masters in 2000. Wow.
really.
You got to
Wow.
bury me there.
Yeah, I would have never left. I'm surprised you're here,
Like
Randy.
Clifford. Do you know the story of old Clifford?
No, fill me in.
Killed himself at Augusta. He was the founder. Clifford Roberts.
Wow.
Shot himself in the head because it's after that guy pissed in Rays Creek. They're talking about the other things that have happened there. And this man founded Augusta. Extremely racist. And once they had the first black player qualify, he stepped down as Augusta's chairman and shot himself in the head at Augusta. So he lived his raps.
We'll be back tomorrow morning from 7 to 9 here as we close it out this morning. Great way to finish it off. We'll be back tomorrow morning 7 to 9. Thank you for hanging out with us all the way almost to 9:30.
Ugh.
So we appreciate it, and we will be back tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. I think there is practice tomorrow, right, John?
there is. Yep.
So, Christian,
Get
you have to go
45
practice
minutes.
tomorrow. I got to get you this camera. But we'll have practice coverage tomorrow, and then LSU baseball tomorrow night against McNeese. Big one. Big one. So we'll be back. Thank you, guys. Thank you, John, for coming in and hanging out with us.
Thanks for having me.
Once again, we'll be back tomorrow.
Throw Kate Anderson.
Red 6-4.
Red 6-4.
Hey, Gino, got my headphones up, bro. You right there. Big step, but we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose. For myself, man, I can't lose. For my family, man, I can't lose. I grind hard and I can't lose. I'm stacking days, man, I can't lose. Big step, but we can never put on the same shoes. I've been giving L's like I know love and I can't lose.